Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be joining, watching, or listening to us from. My name is Ayoti, and you're watching the Niger FC podcast, where we bring you our raw, honest, unfiltered opinions on everything Nigerian football. As always, I have with me my reliable co host.
Sweet light, thank you. Thank you
Yes,
guys for joining here.
another Tuesday, another podcast. Lots to discuss. Everything from the Super Eagles to reviews of performances from the previous week to talking about potential new players in the national team to talking about potential transfers for Nigerian players and everything in between. But as you guys know, I like to kick off by talking and just reviewing the past week of action. Lots of Nigerian players in action over this past weekend. And of course, a lot of quality performances to talk about as well. So let us get into that. Goalkeepers. This week we actually had quite a number of goalkeepers that performed well. Daniel Akpeyi made 3 saves, had a good performance from Marimo Gallant in South Africa. Stanley Nwabali kept a clean sheet while making 3 saves for Chippa United, also in South Africa. Also, Okonkwo kept a clean sheet and made 2 saves for Wrexham. He was also voted as Wrexham's Player of the Month for March. And then Chijoke Aniagboso, if you watch the youth team, you might remember that name. He kept a clean sheet and made 6 saves for Chonomet Odessa in the Ukraine. Over to the defenders, we had William Trustekong with 5 clearances and 6 blocks for Al Kulud. Chidozie Awaziem, 1 chance created, 3 goals, 5 clearances for Colorado Rapids. Calvin Bassi, a rock, 3 tackles, 5 clearances, 6 goals, 1 for Fulham in their victory over Liverpool. We'll talk about that in a bit. Chibuke Nwenwu kept a clean sheet, made 2 tackles, 8 clearances, and 10 goals, 1 for Wolfsberger AC in Austria. We also had Uchena Arirerism with 2 chances created, 3 clearances, 3 goals, 1 for Sparta Praha, currently playing as a fullback. Lucky Okpara kept a clean sheet, 3 chances created, 5 goals, 1 for Spokane Velocity in the USA. Emmanuel Godwin kept a clean sheet and had 1 assist for Trelleborgs. Bright Osai Samuel, 1 penalty, 2 chances created, 8 goals, 1 for Fenerbahce in Turkey. In the midfield, we had Inamdi Ofobo who scored a goal for Swindon Town. Tochi Unadi, 3 tackles, 7 goals, 1 for Zulte Waregem in Belgium. Kelechi Iheanacho had 2 assists for Middlesbrough. He didn't have that today. Fisaya Dele Bashiru, 1 assist for Lazio, the game winner in Lazio's victory over Lukman's Atalanta. We also had Chrysanthus Uche with 2 assists for Getafe CF in their 0-4 victory over Real Valladolid. In the attack, Goodness Ajayi scored 2 goals for NK Opatia in Croatia. Silvia Gordon scored 1 goal and created 3 chances for Al Okdud in Saudi Arabia. Moses Simon, another assist, his 9th assist of the season for FC Nantes in France. Francis Eze scored a goal, created 4 chances for Ankara Kekaranguchu in Turkey. Viv Solomon Otabo got an assist for Al Uruba in the UAE. Salim Fagula, wow, scored 1 goal and created 1 chance for NK Istria. Christopher John scored a goal for Al Arabi Kuwait. Alex Iwobi, 1 goal and 1 assist in Fulham's victory over Liverpool. Monday 8 team scored a goal for Hillerod. Christian Irobiso scored 1 goal and created 1 chance for Petrol Piolesti. Chibuike Ohizu with 1 goal and 1 assist for Sekukune United in South Africa. Uchenna Ogundu scored a goal for Salim Faspo. Abubakar Gali, 2 dribbles, 3 chances created, and 6 goals for Dynamo České Budějovice in the Czech Republic. Taufik Ismail scored 1 goal and created 1 chance for Górnik Zabrze in Poland. And then Rafi Udrosimi got an assist for Victoria Pilsen in Czech Republic. Those are the Nigerian players that performed well. If I missed anybody, please forgive me. As much as we track, we're still human, and 1 or 2 people can be left out unintentionally. Over to the team of the week. In goal, we had Chijoke Inagboso with his clean sheet and 6 saves for tournament. First time ever making the Eagle Tracker team of the week. So shout out to him for that one. In defense, we had Calvin Bassi. That was a fantastic performance. Chibuke Nwenwu and Bright Osai Samuel. In midfield, we had Tochukwu Nadi, we had Fisa Dele Bashiru, we had Uche playing in front of them. And then in the attack, Alexi Wobi, Chibuke Huizu, Kelechi Iheanacho, and Goodness Ajayi. So shout out to every Nigerian player that performed well, and shout out to all those who made the team of the week. And our star of the week for this past week was Alex Iwobi with his goal and assist against Fulham. Smidlai, this is where I throw it to you. Who impressed you the most? Who was your standout performer this past weekend?
You know, I watched 2 games simultaneously, and I don't know who to choose
Mm.
between the 2 guys. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Uche Santos and also Fisadi Bashiru. For me, I have to just go for. I don't want to choose each game. I just want to go for Fisadi Bashiru. Apart from the assist, the runs he made against Atlanta, He gave them a lot of problem. And this is a lesson to national team managers. Bashiru is not a defensive midfielder. He's not a double pivot. Please, he's not a double pivot. This is where he can actually what flourish. For me, apart from that assist, I think he had a lot of things to his game. Don't forget that in the
Mm.
first leg too, he also scored the goal that gave Lazio the lead. Against
Atlanta.
Atlanta. In the previous round. So for me, he started out. Shout out to Uche Santos too. For me, commanding performance. For Getafe, they dismantled Valladolid. For me, I have to just go for Fisa Bashir.
Mm. Besides Dele Bashir.
Bashir, yes.
I mean, you mentioned Uche. Uche was definitely good as well. Some people started fighting me in the comments. We'll talk about that in a
Yes.
second. Because a lot of people forget that I know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about and I watch these games and maybe they do not. It's not just about looking at statistics, but we'll get into that. But let's first start by talking about one player who I think we've been talking about him almost throughout this entire season for various reasons. Sometimes we praise him, sometimes it might not necessarily be praised. I was excited to talk about him today, but unfortunately, he played today and he kind of washed down what I wanted to talk about. I'm talking about senior man, Kels, senior man, Kelechi Iheanacho. Two
Mhm.
assists for Burrow over the weekend. Decent performance. Today, he did not quite follow that up. But Smilai, his inconsistency is something to note. He has a good game or two good games, then he has a bad game. Has another good game, has a bad game.
Yeah.
Is this just what we should now be expecting from senior man Kels, or is there potential that he can still, get back to even if not top level to decent level performer consistently?
For me, I have to be honest in this case. You have to look for a way to actually manage him. That is my opinion. You
Mm,
have to look for. No, I don't worry, guys. I will talk louder. You have to look for a way to actually manage him.
mm,
He might be young, and but for me, I don't think he can play games every for 4 days.
mm.
You need to look for a game ways to actually to manage him. He has gotten to that stage in his career.
He's
Forget about
28.
other factors. Eh?
He's 28. You say he has gotten to that stage in his career. He's 28.
Yes, yeah. Don't let us go into that. So he's a senior man. He cannot play every week. He needs to, he needs to maybe rest him midweek, come back again. That's it. For me, I think mechanic need to understand and learn from Eric Shell that these guys, they need a break sometimes.
Hmm. But do you think is there something that we as fans are not seeing? Because even Middlesbrough fans are complaining that why does he play every game? Why is he on the field for so long? etc. But the coach keeps on selecting him. So
He's a good training. He's very good in training. According to what I hear, he's very very good in training. That's why people keep on selecting him. But games training is different from match conditions. So if he keep on delivering in training very well, working on his body, delivering in training very well. But before you know it, already gets out. So I think the guy needs to actually they need to manage him very well. We
hmm,
cannot say everything IoT, but it needs management. Just like the Nigerian guy that played 2 games in 4 days too. Some have started, but they need management. Yeah.
hmm. You said we cannot say everything. We promise people on this show that we give them our unfiltered opinions.
Uh-huh.
So you
Yeah.
have to say everything. Oh. What
No,
what
no,
what
some
is that
some
thing that you're not saying?
no, some I know I'm not their father, but some
Hmm,
players might be born again. So you never know. So yeah, so you just like if you've watched him very well, you just need to rest him a little bit. I hope Kari can learn from this.
hmm, hmm. I mean, I was honestly very excited to come and talk about him today because I thought he did well over the weekend, even though he had certain moments that were not so great. I mean, still contributing, being a chief creator for his team. I watched the highlights. I didn't watch the game live, and I
Hmm.
thought it was decent. But today, I didn't watch the game again today, but I was following up and keeping tabs. I mean, I was watching the Champions League. I have to be honest. But it just did not live up to even just the performance from the weekend. And for me, that's the thing is like if you go from such a talented player playing for Man City, yes, we understand that you had to leave because there was a lot of competition. And I mean, The fact that we can only look at maybe that 2021 season in Kelechi Iheanacho's whole career. Don't get me wrong, Kelechi's career so far has been good by Nigerian standards. By all means, it has been good. A lot of people would dream to have the career that he has had. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like, other than that 2021 season that was very standout, it's hard for us to really pinpoint and say he has been a top level performer at any time for a period of time. And it's a bit sad. I was really hoping that, I asked last week, I said, oh, I hope that this kind of form can continue for the rest of the season. But if you are playing a game only a few days later and you cannot even keep up the same level of performance, it's a
Mm-hmm.
bit disappointing. I know players will always have bad games, but when your bad games are starting to outnumber your good games, it's something to
Yes.
be very, very concerned about, and it's just not
Yeah.
nice. You want to say
And
something?
it's just unfortunate that when I wrote the years back, we took a player from Arsenal and a player from Man City to go and play World Cup qualifier, in Zambia. You're not sure from Man City going from Arsenal.
Hmm.
What are good days? Good days. But unfortunately now, it's just the way it is.
Now, we have players in Galatasaray and in Atalanta. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's that on Kelechi Iheanacho. Let me just quickly acknowledge. Thank you very much for the super chat, Isabel. Much, much, much appreciated. You guys can follow Halid, and support the channel. And of course, as you guys know, if you want me to highlight your comments and answer questions that you might ask, please let your comment or question be accompanied with a super chat. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Okay, let us move on. We spoke about Kelechi Iheanacho. Now let's talk about a player that I mean. Like, you are a fan of this player. I'm a fan of him as well. But I've said some things in the past that people have misinterpreted. People have taken it to mean that maybe I don't like him. Somebody on Instagram was even telling me, is it because he asked him for interview? He did not give you interview. That's why you have a negative opinion of him. And I'm like, I don't have a negative opinion of somebody. But at the end of the day, I'm always going to tell you guys. You guys know that's one thing about me. I'm always going to tell you what I think. Whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me is another question. I will tell you my honest opinion. The player I'm talking about is Crisanto Suchi. He had a good performance over this past weekend. I watched the game. I did watch the game. He had 2 assists and he was also instrumental for one more goal. Now, the question that I want to ask, or the question that a lot of people, or the thing that people started attacking me for, somebody left a comment saying, but IoT said he should not be called up because he does not play in midfield, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to be honest, I still stand by it. I still stand by it, and it might shock people, but that's the reality. Now, am I saying he should not get called up to the Super Eagles? No, I am not. I am saying I would not call him up to the midfield of the Super Eagles because he does not play as a midfielder. People in the comments talking about he can do a better job than Ndidi. How do you know? Where
Mhm.
is the evidence? What proves that he can do even half the job that Ndidi does? You just assume. Some people tell me, oh, look at what he did in Quetta. I don't, like, with all due respect to Quetta, I don't give a damn what a player was doing before he became a professional footballer. Some people were strikers, they became professionals, they started playing them as centre back. So should I call them up as a striker? Brighton Samuel was a winger. Should I call him up as a winger in 2025? So that's just always been it for me. And people need to understand that it doesn't mean that I do not like him. It doesn't mean that I don't think he's good. It doesn't mean that I don't think he's better than some people that were called up to the national team. But if I were to draw up a list, I'm not calling him up as a midfielder. No matter how many times people tell me, oh, he plays in midfield, I watch the games. He does not. 90% of the time, he does not. This last game that people are using to talk, he did not play as a midfielder. He played as, you talk, hold on. He played as a forward. If you saw the goals that he created, they came from slightly forward positions. The second assist was a very good pass, deeper in the on the field. I'll give that. But for the 90 minutes of that game, or for the duration that he was on the field, he was running left, right, center in advanced positions. Now, if you want to call him up as a 10, different conversation entirely. We can get into that whether or not we think he's a 10. But if we are talking about calling him up ahead of Indidi, that's where people lose me because they do not do the same job. Based on the evidence that we have seen in his first professional season, they do not do the same job. There is nothing that anyone can show me to convince or prove to me that he can tackle, win the ball back, hold the midfield better than Wilfred Ndidi. And that is not to say that I think Ndidi is still performing exceptionally well. But you cannot just call a guy and say, oh, because you watched him play in 3 matches as a CM, he has a lot of energy. That means that he will do better than Ndidi. To me, it's funny. I also think that, I mean, football fans, I mean, we always know this, football fans are fickle. People move on very, very quickly from certain players. It's unfortunate that Ndidi now gets a lot of disrespect, considering how good Ndidi has been for us, considering what he has done in his career, considering the level that he has reached. He has reached the point where now people just want to insult Ndidi every single day. But again, there is no evidence. For all the people that are saying he plays as a box to box, he did not play box to box this weekend. He did not play box to box. Unless you just don't know what box to box is, he did not play box to box. So when people say, oh, somebody said, admits that you goofed, and I'm saying, no, I stick with what I said. When he starts playing CM week in, week out, and is performing at that level, I will be the first person to come here and say, yes, call him up as a CM. But for the fact that he continues to play in advanced positions, I don't see how he gets caught up ahead of Onyeka, how he gets caught up ahead of Onyedika, how he gets caught up ahead of Indidi. Now, if we're talking about Papa Daniel, that's a different conversation entirely. I did not think that Papa Daniel should have been in the team either. So when people start bringing up, but Papa Daniel made the team, but you're saying he shouldn't make the team. I never said Papa Daniel should make the team. So he's better than some people. We know that the way NFF do their selection, there's always cause for query, etc. But for me, as a CMO, I still don't buy it. And it doesn't mean that I don't like the guy. It doesn't mean that I don't think the guy is a quality player. I think he will still play for Nigeria if he keeps on like this. But he did not. Somebody say he played as an ACM. There's nothing like ACM. He's CAM. And again, that is not the position that he's competing with in the before or Onyeka or Onyedika. Smidlai, you've been itching to talk. Go ahead.
No. I am just start from the last one you said. I don't think people are disrespecting Ndidi. We are judging him based on what he's producing now. And with due respect to him, he did well in the past. We cannot, because of Mika is spoiling ball today, and I say, okay, we should not talk because of what I did in the past. So if you come and spoil World Cup ticket, no.
Smidlai.
No.
This is the reason why I call it disrespect. It's different if you are criticizing fairly. It's different if you are speaking on his performance. It's another thing for somebody to just come and leave a comment laughing, or to just come and leave a comment and say wasted footballer, or he should go and play in Saudi. That is disrespect. That is not you judging him based on. That is just you coming to blatantly insult a player.
If that person says you go and play in Saudi because of his level now, is it disrespectful?
It is disrespectful. Because
to say to go and play in Saudi because
Smidlai, if you are coming to talk about his performance and you say something about his performance, yes, it's not disrespectful. But when you just come and say, oh, go and play in Saudi, what's he doing? There is no reason. Indeed, he can still play in the English Premier League. That's the reality. Is he going to play for Man City, for Chelsea, Arsenal? No. But he can still play in the English Premier League. Let's not make it seem as if there are no midfielders that are in Premier League that he's better than.
Yeah. Okay, let me just go to Uche. I don't think Uche is competing with Fred Ndidi in that position, or Rafael Onyedika, or Frank Onyeka in that position. If Chukwueze could play midfield under Eric Shell, for me, I think Uche will play that role better than Chukwueze. Uche can win the ball better than Chukwueze.
But he's not going to offer anything going forward like Chukwueze.
No, I'm coming.
Okay, go on.
How many dribbles did Chukwueze complete in this whole China window?
I don't have the stats, but
so how many? In fact, there was a game that he went to go and take the ball from Sai Samuel. He thought it's a prime Messi. He thought it's a prime Messi. He went to the dribble. I was like, I watched it again. I was like, so in my own opinion, I just think that he needs to work hard. And I believe that if he actually works hard, his time will come for Nigeria. Yeah, that's my take.
No, and I agree. I think his time will come. But again, if we're talking about like Chukwueze versus him, I agree that he will win the ball back better than Chukwueze. He will press from the front better than Chukwueze. I agree on that. But when he gets the ball, does he have the same kind of attacking quality that Chukwueze has? I don't know. I cannot say he does right now based on what I've seen. Don't get me wrong. We criticize Chukwueze's performances a lot. But there has not been evidence of it. People see Even okay, he got 2 assists this past weekend. The second assist was a beautiful pass. I give him that. The first assist, they played the ball, he headed it on. Somebody scored a goal from it. It wasn't like a creative outlet. A lot of his assists this season haven't been, oh, wonderful pass, great creativity. It's been like, okay, you win the ball back, you lay it off to somebody does a good job, finishes. And that's the thing that I that's why I always challenge people to watch the game. People start telling me, oh, I act like I'm the only one that watches Nigerian players. Oh, I'm proud. Oh, I'm arrogant. Oh, I'm this, blah, blah, blah. But people need to understand this thing a little bit. It does not mean that I have anything against the player. It does not mean that I dislike the player. I like him. This is a guy that I chat with every once in a while. So when people try to bring up that thing, it makes me laugh. The same Wilfred Ndidi, talking about, oh, no big team will sign Wilfred Ndidi. If you guys have been watching this show for long enough, if you've been hearing my thoughts and you actually try to remember what I say, I had spoken about Ndidi in the past. I had spoken about Ndidi in the past. And I explained this to people why Ndidi will not play for a top team like Madrid, Man City, etc. I'd explained this in the past. His ability on the ball is not quite there. When you're playing for a team that is a big team, a team that is going to have possession for most of the game, they are really looking for quality on the ball. And Ndidi does not really have that quality on the ball. So I've explained this in the past. It's not as if, oh, now I'm just trying to argue for Ndidi like I've always just been praising him forever. And that's another thing that I always challenge you guys that, see, you need to understand that I stick with the same principles when I talk about football players. I stick with the same thought process for the most part. For me, oh, again, if people are telling me, oh, he's coming to compete with Ndidi, if he's coming to compete with Onyeka, which a lot of people were saying in the comments, that's what I disagree with. If you are telling me that you think he should come and play number 10 for the Super Eagles, then maybe it is just how low our standards have gotten. Or we're just so hungry for somebody that we think he's going to come and be, a creative outlet for us. Because like if the argument is, oh, he plays number 10, so he's a midfielder, and maybe that's just how low our standards have gotten. But if you actually watch his games, you think he's going to come and be a number 10 for us? You think even playing in that position is going to offer us what Alex Iwobi offers us if we have possession most of the time? You think he's going to offer us what Fisaya Dili Bashiru offers us? Now, it's not a knock on the player. Different skill sets, different attributes, gifted at different things. But man, there is a reason why he's being played as somebody to press from the front, to win possession back, and to give it to the more creative, more skillful players. There is a reason why that is the job. It is one thing to play for, with all due respect, it is one thing to play for Getafe, is another thing to play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. You are playing for a team that maybe has 30% of the ball, a team that is just going to sit back and wait for the opportunity, a team that is just going to try to hit teams on the counter when they can. It is very different when you're playing for a team that is supposed to dominate the game. It is very different when you're playing for a team that is supposed to control possession. It is very different when you're playing for a team that is supposed to go out there and win every single match. Your responsibilities are different. Your responsibilities are different, and people need to understand. I see a lot of people that are talking, but very few of them are talking with super chats. So I'm not going to let you guys distract me, especially if you are coming to fight me or argue with me. But again, this is not me saying, oh, he should not get a chance in the national team. That's not me saying that. This is not me saying I do not like him as a football player. No, this is me just saying if we're talking about center midfielders, if we're talking about that position, I cannot say because somebody played there as a midfielder in his semi-pro days or as an amateur, then that means that he should now be in the national team of Nigeria playing in that position. That's where I'll rest my case for now. That's
For
where I
for
rest
me,
my case
for
for now.
me, I also think that because the way we see Eric Shell plays now, we see a lot of cutback. That's dangerous areas. And we see some of the players have not been able to finish it off. Maybe it could be a different type of option in that area. So for me, I just think that there is few national teams that will have someone like Chris Santos Uche that it will not
be part of the team. So, in my own opinion, I think that she give him a trial. Because for me, he works hard in the upper part. He can press high, though his muscle mass, have issue with that. Maybe can gas out easily. But for me, I think that he still have a lot of things to Ashworth learn, and in fact, it might be very important for Nigeria as soon as June.
Yeah, I mean, it might be very important. I feel like he definitely deserves an opportunity to see
Mm-hmm.
what he can do. I hope people will give him the grace, because a lot of people, we don't give people grace like that. See people already bashing to Maroko Dare, the same Maroko Dare that they were fighting for to get into the national team. But yes, I wish him all the best. I like him. I like him. He's a nice guy. He's a humble guy. He's hungry. Everybody is hungry at that level. Let's be honest. If you're just playing your first season as a professional, and you're not hungry, then there's a problem with you.
Mm-hmm.
So, but let's see what happens. This is my final call for everybody to please join us on YouTube. The stream is about to end on other social media platforms. So if you're on Facebook, if you're on X, if you're on Instagram, please join us on YouTube now. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, let us keep the conversation going. Let us keep the conversation going. Let us keep the conversation going. I can see some people are upset with me. I'll address this since you guys want me to address it. You say, oh, so if there's no super chat, yes, there's no other way for me to say it. Yes, we've been doing this for a long time. It takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of research, it takes a lot of commitment. I also have to pay staff, and I appreciate everybody that engages with us. I appreciate everybody that comes to watch the shows. But with the number of comments that we get on every show, as we have a program that we have to run through and talk about these things, we appreciate those that leave super chats. That way we can highlight your comment on screen. There are so many creators on YouTube. If you go and watch Fans Tribe, my guys, you can leave 100 comments. If you don't leave a super chat, they will never read it.
Mm.
You can go and watch foreign shows. If you don't leave a super chat, they will never read it. And I feel like if you don't appreciate our work enough to be able to say, okay, here you go, 100 naira. Here you go, £5, £10, $10. Then I cannot blame you. It's
But
your money.
you're limiting them. One person is thinking and you want to drop $1,000. You're saying
Maybe
that.
I mean, maybe somebody wants to drop $1,000. But for me, if you cannot give something, then like I appreciate you, but it's a bit different.
And
And
guys,
no, but
propaganda responded.
Can I remember? So you're different. I'll acknowledge you. Sorry for that, Can you're a member of the channel. So I appreciate you because you do support with you put your money where your mouth is. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Don't get me wrong. But people that are not members, people that are not, you know, yeah, it's like we have to acknowledge those that really, really appreciate us. It doesn't mean that we don't like you, it doesn't mean that we don't appreciate your support. But on a show like this where we have to go through many things, we only slow down for people that put their money where their comments is. And shout out to Sports Grinder for doing what I just talked about. So Sports Grinder says Uche has a lot of positive attacking plays that have not been utilized by Getafe attackers. His teammates have flunked most of his positive passes. Mm, I don't know. It's an interesting comment. I wouldn't say. I feel like we also have this tendency to blame teammates of Nigerian players when certain things don't go well. Um, he has also flunked many of his teammates' passes. His teammates have also utilized many of the things that he has done. So I wouldn't just come out and say, oh, his teammates are flunked. The reality of it is that the guy is not really an attack-minded player. And which is why I even understand why people want to say, if he plays in CM, he'll do well. Because in reality, if you watch him play, you can tell that he's not an attacker. You can tell. So I understand why people think, oh, CM. But for me, again, until he actually plays there consistently, give me 20 games as a center midfielder, perform like this in the La Liga. I cannot come and talk anything. The evidence, the proof will be in the pudding. But you play 1-2 games, you perform well. Like even says Fabregas played a couple games as a number 9, did well. Does that mean that we now have to play him as number 9 every game? Again,
What about Moreno?
Mikel Merino. He's
Yes,
doing well
but
as a number. He scored a good. I
it's
know, but does it mean that all of a sudden now, every time we want to play him as a number 9? That's the thing.
yes.
no, it's not going to happen. Once their number nine comes back or they sign somebody, they'll move him back to his natural position on the bench. But again, I'm not somebody that believes in sporadic moments. I always say it's the same thing when we're talking about Arokodare initially. Remember, it was something that I was saying that give me sample size, give me consistency. And he did it. And I appreciated him for that. He did it and I appreciated him for that. Okay, let's move forward very quickly. Monso Agumade said, IoT, please look into selling some shares out of the company. We want to part of your story by investing in the brand.
Just tell them that Monso is a subscriber,
Yes,
so
he's
that
a member of the channel. He's a member of the
so
channel.
that
So
they will not think
they will
that
not think that I'm being partial. He's a member of the channel. Shout out to Kene, 1,000 naira. Thank you very much, Kene. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Kene, I see your question about the Unity Cup. We'll come to that later. So I won't take it right now, but we'll come to the Unity Cup later. Let's move the conversation forward very quickly. And if you guys want to continue fighting me on this Santos Uche, feel free, man. I like the engagement, I like the conversation, but I always encourage people to watch the matches before they come and argue, because a lot of people are not watching and a lot of people are just arguing. Um, from positive performance, let's also talk about one of the unfortunate negatives that happened over the past weekend. Two Nigerian players have been dropped down from the first division in England. I'm talking about Joe Ayodele Aribo and Paul Onuachu. Unfortunately, they have both been relegated from the English Premier League with Southampton. Smidlai, what was your immediate reaction after knowing that Southampton have been relegated?
if it's not a matter of if, it's when.
Mm,
Because right from the day they kick the ball in this Premier League, I know they are going down. One, poor investment. Two, poor decision making. Everything went against them. I mean, in due respect, so I think they already planned that they are going down. So for me, why I'm sad is just that our players did not play enough to set themselves out. Let's all be honest ourselves. Except maybe Aribo is just being signed by his former manager. Paul Onuachu did not do enough. Maybe going to Belgium or Turkey as usual. So that's what really pains me more. That they didn't do enough to set themselves out. So see, the Southampton is not ambitious team. When they said the club, it's just championship come back. You see, they come back again.
Yo-yo club.
Yo-yo club, yeah, it's a yo-yo club. So for me, I was expecting it.
Mm, mm. I mean, sad, but yeah, like you said, it was a matter of when, not if. It's unfortunate that they broke a record and became the earliest team to be relegated. Because if you guys remember the Derby County of which year was it, 2011 or something? That terrible, terrible team. For them to be relegated before that Derby County team is incredible. I think they need 3 more points to not be the lowest points ever. I don't know if they'll be able to get those 3 points, but we have to wait and see. I just think it's very disappointing. I look at it that Onuachu this season maybe did not get his fairest chance. It was on the bench for almost the entire first half of the season. In fact, initially they were not even putting him in the squad list. Then they put him on the bench. And I feel like when he did get his chance, he delivered on certain occasions. Even when he did not score, he was still having good games. I remember the Liverpool game, and things like that. And he scored some goals of late. It's disappointing. Aribo also utility player, played as a forward, as a CM, as a DM, as a centre back, just trying to do whatever he can to help the team. For me, even though that they are going down, I honestly think that the two Nigerian players can hold their heads high. I honestly think so. A lot of people have been criticizing them, insulting them, blah, 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 because of their club. But I don't think that they've been bad. I think that they can hold their heads high and, look on with disappointment, but at the same time, realize that they gave their best efforts, especially on Onuachu when he got his chance. So for me, I guess the big question now that I want to ask you, Smilai, should they leave? Should they move on? Or should they go and try to come up again from the championship?
I think Aribo will not move because in a boys and we want to stay in England. And with due respect to which he didn't perform to say, except maybe a team like like Sheffield Wednesday also. I mean, Sheffield United want to sign him, getting promoted a little again. But for now, I think he's not going to stay. I don't think they can afford his wages. I think he's going to go to Turkey. So for me, Onachi will not stay there. It's just it's just I just think if Aribo wants to maintain his his super good sport, I think he needs to leave because you can't decall a midfielder from the championship.
Mm, mm, mm. Okay. I mean, it would also be nice to see them move on, honestly. Because as much as I know that the championship is not the easiest league in the world, I don't like to have to watch the championship a lot of the time. I'll be honest with you. Right now, it's because I'm giving senior man a senior man respect. That's the reason why I'm even watching him in the championship. But I don't like to watch the lower divisions. So please, they should move on to somewhere else. Aribo has tried his best. Southampton is not a club with ambition. He should just move on. And I understand what you're saying about him being an in-it boy, not wanting. But I think that he can offer some quality to. I mean, unfortunately, based on this season, maybe it will be another relegation threatening team, or like you said, newly promoted side that will be
Mm-hmm.
interested. But I just, or maybe it's time to go back to Scotland, or maybe it is time for Aribo to even just say bye bye to England. Do like Olaino,
Mm-hmm.
go to Italy and see what is out there for you.
Dele Bashiru.
Do like Dele Bashiru, leave your comfort zone. Dele Bashiru had to go to Turkey to establish himself a little bit, to then go to Italy. So sometimes going out of your comfort zone can be a good thing, rather than just playing for these relegation 13 teams, these low-level teams. Because again, it does not give you that winning mentality. Now you come to Super Eagles, you are forgetting that you are supposed to be winning matches. That's why our captain, vice captain, is telling us that we don't have to win every game. When you are used to losing mentality in a club where every match you are expecting to get beat.
Yeah.
Because I do not want to talk about in this club, but themselves, they are the same nonsense. Tell me how you.
Same. It's that one too. It's not. It's not. They got 7 points in 18 games. That one is not even.
Every single game, none of you score one goal. How about?
7 points in 18 games. Horrible performance. I don't know why they got Van Nistelrooy.
He won one match from Man U.
One match from Man U. See, they are going. It's so sad that we are battling relegation in nearly all the leagues.
No.
Yeah, Getafe just escaped slightly. At least they are slightly up. But we are not competing. We are just battling relegation. In Syria, we are doing relegation.
Well, we also have those at the top. Let's not make it sound like everybody.
Who at the top?
Osimhen is at the top. Atalanta we are at the top, but they've started messing up.
Atalanta is just a joker.
They started messing up.
If they get Champions League spot, they try.
Okay. Shout out to Uchechukwu Irebu, $1 Canadian. I pushed him to send. He said, "Here, take them." He just said $1 Canadian.
Are we on the road begging?
I appreciate it. He said, when this guy just shut up, I beg, take. But I appreciate it. Shout out to Mo. Thank you very much. 5CAD.
I'm my man. Yeah.
Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Okay. Let's talk about, again, let's go to another high. Let's talk about two Nigerian players who impressed this weekend, but I want to talk about one in particular. Calvin Ugelumba Bassey. This man puts one of the best players in the world, puts him in his pocket, marshaled him throughout that match. And a lot of people have now been hyping him up. People are talking about get him to Manchester United. He's the one that we need. They're linking him to big clubs. Fans are clamoring for him. Of course, we know what Calvin Bassey has been doing this season. It's not just this game. Now people are starting to talk about him as potentially, being able to become a world-class defender. This is the same Bassey we watched at Rangers, went to Ajax and had a relatively tough time, and then come to Fulham. And even in his first season playing with Tosin, they still had some hiccups here and there, but now he has come into his own and is now a man and can stand. Smith, do you think Calvin Bassey has the potential to be a world-class centre back?
Yes, of course. And I remember the game they played against Palace. And I think he made one mistake. So they were trying to run the commentary on BBC. The guy said that we know Calvin Bassey is very good, but little things separates the good from the very best. So that he needs to work on some areas. We know he's very good, and the issue is I don't know where the confidence comes from. IoT. The confidence level is extreme. In fact, the way he was bullying Zimbabwe, I went to go and watch the game. The way he bullied Zimbabwe, the way he bullied them, I wish we have two of them in the back line. So for me, I think it's our best. Without missing word, it's our best central defender. And if Mimiko is watching here, Mimiko said that this is your boy, this is your boy. Are you sure? But Mimiko, if you are listening here now, can you see that I'm right about Calvin Bassey? So for me, I think it's gonna be a very tough summer to for Fulham to hold on to
to
Calvin Bassey.
Calvin.
And I'm hearing that you know you are talking about Man United, talking about that is playing that is forcing on the table. I mean, I don't know what that is forcing on the table.
Mm.
But if you see Calvin Bassey in Spain, don't be surprised.
Hmm. If you see him in Spain, I will say I am very, very impressed with Calvin Bassey. I think Calvin Bassey is another example of why I always beg and challenge Nigerian fans to give people time. Give people time sometimes. If you can see ability in somebody, even though they might not necessarily be putting out the output right from the beginning, give them grace.
Mm-hmm.
It's different if somebody does not have the ability and you're like,
Mhm.
oh, why is this guy even there? But when you know that somebody has the ability, give them the grace. Because Calvin Bassey, again, in the Super Eagles, did not have the best stats.
Mm-hmm.
Some people were criticizing him, some people were doubtful, some people were not sure. But we could see that this guy has the ability. And then now he's coming into his own. Now he's maturing. For me, I don't even lie. I don't really want him to leave Fulham yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think, it's very easy to just have one great
Okay,
season
okay.
and
What
then
if Marco Silva leaves Fulham?
to Saudi.
No, so Marco Silva is tip to replace Big
Uh,
Angie in
Big
Tottenham.
Aj. No, but last summer now, Saudi wanted Silva, but his donor turned it down. They gave him
Yeah,
they
they
offered him
gave
some
some
big money, and he
big
turned it
money.
down to stay with Fulham. And he's
Yeah,
doing a great job with Fulham. But,
so Tottenham want him now. What I think so.
but I think, if Silva leaves, it will depend on whoever their next coach is. If say, at Fulham, if it's a coach that you can buy into his ideas, that looks like he can continue on the same trajectory, this is a team that right now they are scratching the surface of potentially playing in Europe next season.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I understand that it's very easy to just shine and say, okay, peace, I'm bouncing. But I also think that stability can do a lot of good for you. Before you go somewhere else now, then the lights might become a little bit too bright. And then all of a sudden, people are like, oh, well, was he really as good as we thought he was? It's different because, again, he hasn't done it consistently for a number of seasons. This is his first season where everybody is really taking notice.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
if he does leave, I cannot hold it against him. There's also the saying that you must strike while the iron is hot. So he and his team, I'm talking about his management, they will be in the best position to know what is best for him in terms
Mm-hmm.
of their opinion of him, how they think he can progress.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if a team in the Champions League comes, it will be hard for you to say, oh no, I don't want to go to the Champions League. If a top team historically comes, it will be hard for you to say, no, I don't want to go to this top team. I want to stick with Fulham. But personally, I wouldn't mind seeing him stay at Fulham, just negotiate a relatively good pay rise. I don't know what kind of money Fulham likes to pay people, but try to see if you can negotiate some more money, make yourself into a key player in the team. And then if you have another great season, you can say, okay, I've served my purpose, especially if they maybe somehow qualify for the Conference League or something, then it might not be bad staying. Kenneth says Calvin Bassett to Manchester United is gathering steam. It's me like, if I know that United are rubbish, I know, I acknowledge that fact. But if he joins United, historically they're a gargantuan club. Would you think that that's a good move for him?
Which historically they are good
They are
historically, but
historically, yeah, now.
they are good. But imagine them; they are still wearing pampers. So with this is for me. I just think that Man United needs surgery,
Hmm.
and anybody that comes become a scapegoat. Look at Anthony doing well in Real Betis. See, Man United needs surgery, in my own opinion. So I think that team need overhauling.
Hmm.
And I'm not sure this manager will really want to carry out the overhauling. But this is your very so
Hmm.
they have been horrible. Ten Hag seems to be a saint now, based on what this man is doing in Man United. So I think he should look for a way to avoid it.
Hmm. But I'm not trying to defend United. If you've watched me, I don't care for United. But could it be that maybe some players cannot live up to the pressure of playing for a club like United? Because just like I'm saying, when I'm talking about Uche, I'm saying playing for Getafe is very
Mm.
different from playing for the Super Eagles. Playing for Leicester is very different from playing for the Super Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Playing for Manchester United is very different from playing for Fulham. The pressure, the lights, the expectations, the media, everything is different.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why some people are not quite cutting it. Look at Jadon Sancho. When he plays in Dortmund, it looks like some top player. Goes to Man U, flop. Goes to Chelsea, does well for 2 matches. Then once people start talking about him, all of a sudden he has forgotten how to play ball again.
Mm-hmm.
So this pressure sometimes can get to players. Not the reality is not everybody is built for the bright lights. I'm not saying Bassi isn't. I'm just saying in general that not everybody is built for the bright lights. Some people are supposed to just be low key, just doing their thing, not too much hype, not too much pressure, just cruising and performing well. The moment you put them in front of everybody, all of a sudden now they're like a deer in headlights. They don't know what to do again.
I think Bakembasi we thrive better joining a more stable team. If you look at the recruitment process of Man United has been like concerning, in my opinion. So
Sajim is making things happen now.
Signing Euro, happy. Euro. I don't know. Euro and the boy in Obi. See, let me tell you something. All of them will still do their job. I know that's what I just think because it's a gamble. You don't know maybe Chidi Obi will become good. You don't know that. He's still 17 years of age. You don't know that. You don't know maybe that Kuit Keita, Kone also. The boy in Mali will become a good player. You have seen the boy, good player. I'm like you, fine player. I've seen the boy, in this United, very good player. So, but you don't know. So a lot of things. I just feel you should go to a system where it works. For me, if Nottingham Forest said Milenkovic and asked him to come there, it's good. Because Moreno is really, a lot of people wanted Moreno now. If they say Moreno and they want to replace him with Kamibasi, you should go.
Okay. Shout out to Tosin David for the super chat. 1 GBP.
Okay.
Thank you. See, I appreciate everybody.
I appreciate everybody.
Make it not be like say they set a high expectation. If somebody wants to give £100, of course, thank you.
Because
if it's £1 you can give, I appreciate it as well.
Somebody challenge, I challenge. I'm gonna challenge 1,000. I'm not gonna give £1, but no problem. That is
also about the support. But please, guys, if you don't want to give us money, fine. I understand. Not everybody thinks that the content is worth putting their money to it. But please like the video. That one doesn't cost you any money. It costs you £0, £0, £0, €0, zero whatever currency you spend. So please, if you haven't hit the like button, help us do so now. We only have 39 likes on this video with consistently over 100 people that have been watching, 133 right now. So please hit the like button. Do us that favor. It's the least you can do for us. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please hit the like button and God will bless you as you do so. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And again, if you want us to highlight your comment, you want us to put it on the screen, you want to ask a particular question I want us to respond to, please let your comments be accompanied with a super chat and we'll be very, very happy to take your comments and address whatever you want us to address. Okay. I've been doing positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. I want to talk about another thing that maybe is a negative, maybe some wouldn't. There's this young player, Smilai. You were very big on him. Even I was big on him. Nigerian fans were very big on him. But a lot of people have forgotten about him now. Maybe because this season has not been quite at the level that we were expecting or hoping that it would be at. Performances have not quite lived up to the expectation, especially considering the fact that, he signed for Inter and everybody thought we would expect a lot. I'm talking about Ebenezer Akinsomeru. Just looking at his performances in 2025 so far, it's been a very mixed bag. 1 or 2 good appearances there, some terrible performances, and some average performances playing for Sampdoria in Italian Serie B. From being a starter, he lost his place in the squad, and more than half of the games that he has played have been coming off the bench. This is still a young player, so nobody should say we're not giving up on him. But Smilai, are you concerned in any way that maybe his progression is not going as fast as we would have hoped? Are you concerned in any way?
There's no time in football. That is one thing. It's so sad. He's a player that I really like him. very much. I think that is a proper Nigerian midfielder. But it's just that it was doing well for Inter Milan youth team. But it's just that sometimes when a manager that likes you take you on loan, want to develop you, the manager
And
that took him on loan lost his job. So from there, don't forget that these players are also humans too. Mixed bags, mixed emotions, and everything. I'm pretty sure the way he is now, and speaking to those that are very close to him, he can't wait to pack his bag and leave somebody. He can't wait for this thing to get too free to be over and just leave them. He can't wait to leave. He just believes that maybe probably if Inter is not getting opportunity in Inter, he's going to leave the country. Dortmund came for him before when he was in Inter Milan youth team, you know, and they had this relationship with Inter very well before Dortmund. So for me, I just think that this is like a lesson, like a learning curve for him. I think he's going to bounce back stronger. It's just that things happen to him. For example, now look at the boy. Is it Diallo? Called Diallo? Is it Diallo? The boy that played for Como, that played for Senegal.
Mm.
The guy, Fabregas brought him, and he has been doing well in Como under Fabregas. He didn't start Fabregas. That's why he's still thriving. But Akinto Moro's situation was slightly different. Pilo lost his job. So if Pilo performing well, doing well, he was doing well that Andrew Pilo. So for me, I just that it's just a mixed bag slightly. The new coach might not probably be his fan, and before you know. That's it. Look at the man Fonseca. He was big on Chukwueze. He was big on Chukwueze, but when Kwesao came in, things change. So managers sometimes can influence players, and also too, even his manager in Inter Milan youth team, Shivu, is no longer there again. So it's going to be a very big summer for him.
So you say it's going to be a big summer. Do you think he should stay at Inter and try to find his feet, or should he find a permanent home away from Inter?
I think Inter are reluctant to sell him.
Because they still think he has that talent.
And based on their reluctance to sell him, I think he's going on loan outside Italy.
On loan outside Italy.
Outside Italy.
So a top division or to Austria or Norway or somewhere?
To top 10 European leagues,
I mean, I really hope he's able to bounce back and find his feet because, it's something that, like, remember, you've asked, sometimes when you ask me about certain youth players, I always say, when they start playing first team, I'll talk about them because it's unfortunate the way it is hard for players to progress from youth teams to first teams. And to be honest, it's not just Nigerian players, if we are being realistic. We can talk about European stars that at youth level were lighting it up, the next best thing. And fast forward to 3, 4, 5 years later, some of them don't even have clubs. It happens across the board. But with Nigerian players, we also see that it's not everybody that has been able to progress. Even the ones that were superstars at youth level, with the exception of maybe Victor Osimhen, and maybe I would even include Samuel Chukwueze there, just because he's still playing for a very good club. A lot of people have not been able to live up to that. Kelechi Nwakali was a superstar at youth level. His career did not quite pan out at superstar level. Ehenacho was a superstar at youth level. I mean, he still had a good career, but not quite the same. And it's interesting that now we are seeing that a lot of players who do not necessarily play for the youth teams are the ones that are actually being able to find their way to top teams, and I just wish that the guy is able to bounce back. This is a player that at some point people were saying they should call him up to Super Eagles. So some people were already talking like that. And look at it now, we've not been able to see. I mean, we remember his counterpart, Eletu, even though he has had his fair share of injuries that have kind of stifled his development. But it's a similar thing, like, bruh, we want to see these players perform well. We want to see these players, achieve their potential. Is one thing to be a potential star, is another thing to be a superstar. And I know that, yes, just playing at this level, a lot of them would have been able to at least make some money to take care of their family, etc. But at the same time, when you have a drive, when you have a passion, it's not, some people are fine just making money. But if you have that drive, if you have that passion, you want to be the best. And you know that when you are the best, the money will come alongside it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I really hope that the boy is able to bounce back. I like him. I think he has the right mentality. I think he has the right quality. I've not been watching his games recently because he has been on the bench for most of them. But at the beginning of the season, I was watching his games and I was seeing the quality that he has, playing even
Mm.
in center midfield positions, playing more advanced, playing the number eight role, winning the ball back, driving his team forward, playing some nice passes. Right from preseason, he was showing us quality.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's just the manager change that influenced him negatively. Maybe it was the mental effect of being called a monkey, etc. Maybe it's a
Mm-hmm.
combination of all those things. But I really wish him all the best. I'm not going to give up on him yet, but I just think that next season would have to go a lot better for him. Next season will have to go a lot better for him, so that we can pick back up the conversations about him, so that we can believe even more that he can achieve what we think he's going to achieve. But at the moment, he's not going to get into the Inter first team playing like this. That's
Yeah.
what I think. Especially Inter doing well. They beat Bayern Munich today. It's not
Mm-hmm.
going to be easy to get into the team playing like this. But yes, wish him all the best. Ebenezer Akinson, still a top talent, still somebody that I think can do a lot in his playing career. Okay. Like anything you want to add before we move on?
No, I just think that yeah, people have been saying that Inter Milan they are getting old. Somebody said I don't want to highlight comments here. Say that you are getting old, but for me, if they're getting old, Inter Milan will buy the Premier League. That's the one thing that
Yeah.
can match. With due respect, you cannot say that he's playing for a complete team, playing to win Champions League. You
Mm.
won't get the quality from Manchester United now. Let's put it ourselves. They are trying to win Champions League. They want to win the Italian Serie A. Do you think Antonio's quality can fit
Is
their
what they're
midfield?
looking for.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no,
He needs to step up for sure.
no,
He needs to
no.
step up. But whoever he lands in the summer, maybe in Belgium, if he can find his feet in Belgium or something, then it can be a good boost for him. Belgium is a favorable league for Nigerian players. So maybe that's where he needs to go, and then he can shine, and then we can start talking about him again. Okay. I didn't prepare this because I only saw the news before we came live, but a relatively negative thing. My dear friend, a player that I like, Akko Adams, out
Mhm.
again with another injury. I don't know what is going on. I don't know. Like, Akko is a prayerful boy, so I don't even want to say, oh, he needs to go and pray more. But since he joined Sevilla, got injured after 2 games, came back from injury after a couple weeks out, played another 2 games, got injured again in their most recent match against Atletico. And then the injury, they did not say a specific timeline of how long he'll be out, but just based on estimation, it's about 4 weeks. So if he's coming back, he'll be coming back to play maybe the last game of the season or maybe the last 2 matches of the season type of thing. At this young age, a player with so much potential, I am so sad to see him keep getting injured like this. It's sad. I don't know if there's something that he has to change about his body, if there's because I mean Akko is a very muscular guy, and if you're a very muscular guy constantly having muscle problems, maybe you need to reduce your weight a little bit. Not that he's fat, but your overall weight, maybe your body cannot quite handle, the amount of force that is being applied on it. We've seen similar with a person like Rich James, fit guy, but a lot of muscle mass and constantly getting muscle injuries. This time is a quad injury, and it just makes me sad, man. It just makes me sad. It just makes me sad because this guy has potential, but if you keep getting injured, it's going to be hard for you to fulfill your potential. They say that the best ability is availability, and if you are not able to play, your stock would only keep going down. Sevilla took a big chance on him, considering the fact that things were not going too well at Montpellier. And I was looking at the comments on social media. Sevilla fans are so upset that they signed him now because they're like, you people first give us a Nacho, it did not deliver. Then you put us another striker that cannot even play, not to talk of deliver. At least Nacho was playing, he was just not playing well. They are complaining that this one is not even playing, it's just getting injured. Um,
Mhm.
Very, very sad. I like Akko as a guy. I like him as a football player. And I hope that he's not out for too long. And I hope that this does not become a recurring theme in his career. I think this is the time where between him, his club, his agent, they need to hire specialists to look at him to understand what the issue is. These are the times where I think players need to dip into their own personal funds a little bit and
Mm-hmm.
get a trainer that can understand how you can reduce certain things like this, how best you can maintain your body. Because at the end of the day, your club cannot really do everything for you. There has to be some personal, I think, personal investments done to try to get yourself in the best state possible to be able to play football consistently. Because again, you don't want to also become a player that they feel like they need to start managing you. Then all of a sudden they don't want to ever start you in any game because they only want to manage your minutes and be playing you 20 minutes so that you don't pull something, so that you don't get injured. Because I was happy to see him starting that game against Atletico, only to now get injured. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But I wish him all the best. What do you think about the Aqua Adams injury?
No, for me too. Just like you too, I saw it late. No, I wasn't on the social until just before we came on, and I saw it late. I was really really sad. But I just think that Garcia Pabienta to he should look for a way to manage him very well.
Hmm.
A player that is just coming back from injury, you give him like 90 minutes to play in that. He can stretch anything. He's just coming back. You have to look for a way to manage him well. If you know that you really like him, and you want to rely on him. Instead, you went to go and change Ejuke that you brought in, you put it back. For me, I just think that I could have been managed better. For
Hmm.
me, like I said, this injury is just coming back. He's good. He played 90 minutes. I was when they are trying to bring off substitute Ejuke, I was thinking that he's going to be Aquadams.
Hmm.
I didn't know he's going to be Ejuke. But I was asking a question. Have you ever seen? You might see that regularly when they bring in substitutes and they remove the player again, like for UK.
I mean, it doesn't happen often, but let's also just be cognizant of the fact that Eduke subbed on early in the game. So he still got almost 60 minutes under his belt.
Okay,
So it is kind of like if you started the match and they sub you off at the 60th minute.
okay, yeah.
Usually, it is something that is considered embarrassing in football, to be
Uh-huh.
honest. When you're a sub and you get subbed off, it's usually considered embarrassing. So it doesn't happen that often, but I'll just look at it and say, maybe the coach just felt like, okay, he has played enough, he has contributed to us, you know, let's see what he can do. Because he wasn't terrible in the game, Educate, when he was playing, but obviously it wasn't quite working for them. Even though, I mean, they're playing against Atletico de Madrid, they were ahead, and maybe they Atletico equalized them, and then maybe the coach said, okay, let's try to manage this game a little bit and see what we can do. Educate is not really somebody that tracks back as much. I don't know what the coach was thinking exactly, but I'm not too concerned about it. I'm not too concerned about it. Eduke is a player that the Sevilla fans like. We know how he contributes to them when he's playing. Even after that game, they were still posting some of his clips. So
Mm.
I don't think it's something to be concerned
He
about.
wasn't productive in that game.
How many players are productive?
You know, I know that this thing, but I like him so well, but I just realized that he just needs to look for a way to help the team more.
Hmm.
Don't look for a way to take on opponents, all the time. Look for a way, simple pass. Even the pass, some of the passes very obvious was to the opponents. I just think that he needs to look for a way to help the team more. They keep on playing Vargas ahead of him, keep on playing Ice ahead of him. If he didn't continue to, he needs
But
to look for a way to help.
Smilai, see, I will slightly disagree with you because I'm one of those people that I feel like allow players to play their natural game.
Mm-hmm,
Ejuke is a guy that likes to take players on. He likes to dribble. Doesn't
mm-hmm,
mean that he's always going to have good games dribbling past players. No.
mm-hmm,
Sometimes he will get locked up and he might look bad. It's the same thing when you have a player like Jeremy Doku. Allow him to play his natural game. Football fans, we complain about how players in today's game are so robotic. Everything is almost like mathematics. This is the way to do it. You get here, you pass here, you run here, you do this, you do that. So for me, a player like Ejuke is a breath of fresh air, a player that likes to express himself, that likes to do his thing. Honestly, like for me in today's football, I like players like that. And the reality of it is that some days they're going to lock you up. And people will be looking at what's this guy doing? Like, oh my, he cannot even beat his man one time. You're a human being, you're not a machine. So for me, I don't take it to heart, man. He only completed 3 out of 8 dribble attempts. Maybe the coach got frustrated and said stop him off. But the day where he completes 5 out of 5, why the same people that will come and say, damn, he's the top dribbler in top 5 leagues. Is that. These are the same things that we used to praise him. So when it doesn't quite go well for him, then we shouldn't knock him too much because that's his game and I want him to play his game. That's the reason why Sevilla fans fell in love with him early in the season because of his dribbling, because of what he was doing on the ball. So if it doesn't work, yes, sub him off because it's not working. But for me, I have no qualms with it. He has changed his game up a little bit. He's not the same educator that was playing in here, Evan. It's not the same educator that went to Germany. He has sometimes you'll realize that okay, he cannot pass. Sometimes when he doesn't have support, he doesn't just run helplessly. He'll hold the ball up, try to bring his teammates into it. No football player is going to have a top game every time, especially if you're not a world-class player. So for me, I'm not concerned. If it continues to struggle ahead, then I might become concerned. But one, two bad games here and there, you're allowed. You're allowed. I think so. I think so. I like Dukeo. I like what he brings to a football field.
Mhm.
I like what he brings to a football field. Okay, let's talk about transfers. Of course, the summer window is approaching, and there's going to be a lot of news. Some people are going to be on the move. Some people are going to be negotiating new contracts. But two of Nigeria's biggest players right now are expected to be on the move. The first one that we're going to highlight today is our star boy, Victor James Osimhen. Osimhen, of course, lighting it up, tearing it up for Galatasaray in the Turkish league, helping them to get into the cup. Was it the semi-final? Disappointing Jose Mourinho and things like that. But we know that there is a 95 or 96 or even maybe 99% chance that Victor Osimhen is going to be departing Galatasaray once the season is done. Now, our dear legend, John Obi Mikel, has come out again on his Obi-Wan podcast talking about Victor Osimhen. The boy, the way Mikel always talks about him, the boy wants to join the club, get it over the line. He keeps on talking about how Mikel wants to join Chelsea and Chelsea just need to get it over the line. I'm happy how Osimhen is doing because in my group chats, I've started hyping him up again. Sometimes when I start hyping Osimhen, people in the group chat just stop replying me because they know that IOT has come. But do you think that this is the move? Man U are, Man U fans, Man U legends have started to talk about him. Arsenal fans have started to talk about him. But Chelsea, it seems like that's where his heart lies. And the club also wants him. They just need to brush up some financial, whatever. It's been like, do you think Osimhen to Chelsea is the move that needs to happen?
Yeah, yeah. For me, I think it's like a match made in heaven. I think he's someone that wants to follow his idol. Has not shied about this thing before. That Drogba is his role model. He wants to play for Chelsea, just like the way Drogba did. So, Mikel is already, a lot of people have been forming, debating something online that why is Mikel always after Jackson? It's like you want to chase somebody first.
For your brother.
To your brother. But for me, I think he's just saying it from he wants the best for Chelsea. And the good thing is also it's also Mikel is there to hype him.
Mm.
So in case the English press, are trying to do so the way they used to do, Mikel is going to be Talk Sports, he's going to be Sky Sports, he's going to be being Sports to defend Victor Osimhen. So for me, I think it's just try and get the deal over the line. And I think the boy actually wants to join. I think he respects Mikel Obi, and he wants to follow suit. Don't forget that if he joins Chelsea, it's like a politician that coming from APT to PDP. He will carry a lot of fans from Nigeria to
Chelsea.
to Chelsea. You will see different people. Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea. That will bring life back into Chelsea in Nigerian fan base too, even in Africa. So for me, I think the Chelsea needs to happen. He needs to play for Chelsea, and I see him wearing the blue jersey very soon.
I mean, for me, you guys know I am a Chelsea fan, so I want Victor Osimhen. I've been saying it. I want Victor Osimhen. Last summer, I had some choice thoughts about the wage demands, about his consistency, etc. Even though he's not playing in the top league this season, he has shown that he can still deliver top performances on a consistent basis. In the Europa League, he has also shown that he can continue to deliver and he can put his team on his back. For Nigeria, he continues to show that he can deliver when needed. So, I want him. And again, before, I might have even been concerned about Chelsea and money. But the reality of it is that Chelsea is spending 25 million on every random South American boy. or every random young Portuguese midfielder. Oh, today we bought this guy from Argentina, 25 million. Oh, tomorrow this guy from Uruguay, 20 million. Another one from Brazil, 20 million. One from Portugal, 25 million. All this money that you're spending left, right, center on 20 year olds, put it together and sign Victor Osimhen. I understand that is a big gamble, and if he does not deliver, maybe they might feel like, oh, well, they've paid all this money, they're paying him all these wages, etc. But in life, what did this guy say? Take risk and succeed. Sometimes you just have to take a gamble. You have to take a gamble. You have to take a gamble. You cannot allow a player of the quality of Victor Osimhen to join your rivals if you are trying to really compete with them. Imagine Osimhen joins us now. Oh, Parini, like that's like Arsenal just need the top number 9, and it has finished. Imagine he joins Liverpool with how they're already winning league.
Mhm.
If he joins Man U, those ones, if they don't buy a lot of other players, those ones they will still continue to struggle. But still, Chelsea cannot afford to allow Osimhen join another rival.
Yeah.
So I think they should take a chance. I mean, if his wage demands are not exceptionally crazy, if certain players across England can be earning some kinds of wages, certain players in Chelsea, people like Fofana, all due respect to Fofana, earning what 250k a week to play 5 matches a season or 10 matches maximum a season and just be in the hospital the rest of the time, then you can afford to pay Osimhen that amount of money to deliver goals for you and to deliver titles for you. And Osimhen knows that if he joins
What about National Grid?
National Grid,
Yeah.
as per how?
There's National Grid in Chelsea. Now, the right back.
But that
How
one,
many games did he play?
that one is Skippo. So you give Skippo a little bit of leeway. But for me, I just think that Chelsea need to take a chance, man. Chelsea need to take a chance. Don't pay him 500k, but if it's 300 he wants,
Mhm.
maybe you can put some what's it called? Some clauses in the contract. Now,
Mhm.
okay, if we don't qualify for this, everybody takes, because I know that clubs have that in the contract. Like, okay, if we're not in Champions League, because obviously if you're not in Champions League, the club is making less money.
Mhm.
So if we're not in Champions League, everyone takes maybe 10% drop or
Mhm.
20% drop. If we don't deliver this, you can incentivize him as well in terms of, okay, score 20, 30 goals, you get extra 1 million. Score this, you get extra this. We win this. Osimhen knows that if he joins Chelsea, there's going to be pressure on him because this thing has been talked about for over a year now. But I know Osimhen's drive, his passion, he's somebody that will deliver.
Mhm.
And even if the goals are not coming for him, he will give every single thing for every single minute, and it will still eventually come through. You look at Fernando Torres when he joined Chelsea, big money, big name, big transfer. Things were difficult. He was struggling, but you could see that he was trying. And eventually, when they needed him the most in the UEFA Champions League, he delivered. And if you ask Chelsea fans about Torres today, they will still speak highly of him because of that moment
Yeah.
that he scored that goal against Barcelona.
Mhm.
Sometimes one good moment can wash away many bad moments that have happened over a period of time. And while I don't think Osimhen will flop like Torres, I think he will deliver. But I'm just saying, the drive that Osimhen has, the passion, the intensity that he plays with, Osimhen will for sure contribute positively. We talk about how Chelsea is a different team when Jackson is playing because of the efforts that Jackson gives, the pressing, the running around, holding the ball up. Osimhen will do that times 1.5, if not times 2. The only fear that I have for Osimhen joining Chelsea is Enzo Maresca, because Maresca, sometimes his tactics can be very confusing.
Mhm.
But I know that Osimhen, as a football player, he will give everything, he will deliver. Unfortunately, I'm expecting Saudi to come again with big offer this summer.
Yeah.
They are going to come back. Those ones don't rest. And the thing is that if Saudi come now and they say we'll pay you 500k a week, Osimhen might now tell Chelsea, oh yeah, you people have to pay me, and Chelsea can start to dilly-dally again.
Mhm.
But I mean, I want Chelsea to sign Osimhen, man. I think it will be a very big addition for the club. It will be very good for Osimhen's reputation for him to play at a club like Chelsea. But Smith, like, I'll ask you this question: if Chelsea fail to qualify for the UEFA Champions League, would you still say that that's a good move for Victor Osimhen?
For me, I think it's just wants to be part of the Chelsea family. If he's
Mm.
going to play for 2 or 3 seasons, I don't think he minds. For me, I think Europa League. Chelsea is Chelsea. He's going to play yes, Europa League. There's going to be Champions. No, there's going to be Premier League too.
Okay, I thought you
So
wanted to say. I thought you wanted to say Conference League because nobody
no,
wants
no,
to
no.
say Conference.
But I'm also hearing to that Barcelona also actually wanted to sign him, and they're serious about it. But I think they have to go and borrow money.
What would they
So,
do exactly? These ones cannot register player. They want to.
no. Because that Lewandowski, if they win the treble, he might probably leave. So they're looking for who to actually want to replace him. That's it.
But how
And
would they?
the guy, if you watch his stats very well, Victor Osimhen suits his style of play. I'm talking about Ansu Flick. That is extremely crazy, but Victor suits his style. So for me, Victor is a class player. He won't be short of offers.
Barcelona jersey no go fit Osimhen sha. I'm just trying to picture it.
Mm.
Barcelona jersey. I mean, well, it looks similar to Galatasaray, but Galatasaray's design is different from Barcelona's regular.
Mm-hmm.
She joined Chelsea. I beg, let's not overthink
But
it.
playing against Getafe, against
Hey, you're just a bag. His goal tally. You
yeah,
can tell it to do like what he's doing in Turkey.
yeah.
Um, Shout out to Real K. Thank you very much. Real K says Osimhen won't go to Chelsea. Chelsea will get the lap. This is not, knowing the way these Chelsea owners do their transfer business, it will not surprise me. But what is a Liam, all due respect to the lap, what is a Liam Delap where we're talking about Victor Osimhen? Like,
Mm-hmm.
or if not that, there is English tax. What
Mm-hmm.
is Delap doing in the same conversation with Victor Osimhen? Like, we're talking about a striker that has delivered a league title, that has scored goals for fun, scored in the Champions League. We're talking about Liam Delap that is about to get relegated with Ipswich because he scored 10 goals. But I won't be surprised though if those Chelsea owners go and sign him. They'll say, he will collect less money, but will pay less transfer fee, everything. I won't be surprised because those American owners,
Mm-hmm.
it's God that will judge them. But yeah, shout out to Victor Osimhen, man. Shout out to Victor Osimhen. Keep it going, win the league title. I mean, Fenerbahce are fighting, but all due respect to Osai Samuel, we love Osimhen a bit more. So, so we are supporting.
He's also on the move too. So
We love Osimhen a little bit more. So Osai Samuel, you can come second. We'll take Victor Osimhen winning the league title. But at least whoever wins, the Nigerian will be involved. It's a close one, man. 3 points. 3 points.
yeah.
It's going to be very close. Let me see who
So,
do Galatasaray have to play before the season ends? Samsung Spor, Bodrum Spor, Ayub Spor, Sivas Spor, Trabzon Spor, Kayseri Spor, Gostepe, and Basak Sheher. These what 8 matches. Osimhen can still score 12 goals in these 8 matches.
there.
I don't put it past him to score because all this sport. He's up.
They don't be.
Yeah. Turkey is not a serious league for someone like Osimhen, to be honest. But I'm happy that he was able to deliver these numbers because I said it at the start of the season when people said, why are you setting all these expectations? Why blah, blah, blah. People were talking as if Osimhen is one small boy that if I say she scored 20 plus goals, I'm setting some huge target for him. And I said this, he has the quality he needs to. If you think if Osimhen only scored 10 goals in the league, do you think people will still be talking about him the way they're talking about him? People would have lost faith. So he had to deliver at this level, and I'm happy he is. So give us 10, 12 more goals before the season ends. Win the league, maybe win the cup as well. And I will go to Stamford Bridge and go and if I'll donate £10 towards the transfer fee. let them sign him.
Yes. No.
Okay. Let's talk about another Nigerian player potentially on the move. Let me never say potentially. For sure, is going to be on the move. Another superstar, the best player in Africa, Ademola Lookman. We know that the relationship with the coach completely broken at this point. The boy has made it clear he wanted to leave last summer. He gave the club enough respect to stay with them, and fight for the Scudetto this season. It seems like the Scudetto challenge has fallen by the wayside. Disappointing results. Interesting thing that happened this past weekend. While they were chasing a goal, the coach subbed off Ademola Lookman. But Smilai, did you see his explanation?
Yes.
He said he wanted to sub off another player
Yes.
but there was miscommunication with the nickname.
Mm-hmm.
So he said they should sub Ede,
Mm-hmm.
but the person thought he said Ade.
Okay.
And then by the time they noticed, Lukman has already walked off the pitch,
Mm-hmm.
so they could not ask him to stay on. That for me is like the South African mistake, or it's such
For
a
me,
stupid mistake to make.
I look at that. It's like his signature substitution.
Mm,
When you just say that make because he took Kutugui out at the same time with Lukman.
mm.
And you don't do that when they're not performing up front. So
Yeah,
I don't
don't
think
stop them off. Mm.
you just take them up and bring some big Madini in and just bring them in and declare Qatari Abi. Just bring them in. So, you know, mistake. But for me, I think Lukman is no longer his mind is no longer there. So people are saying that he has not scored in 5 games. He has set that standard for himself. He has set the standard for himself. For example, now the same cannot be set for a different player. We have not mentioned his name, but they continue.
No, but yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. Okay,
Yes.
now let's talk about potential destination for Ademola Lookman. One team that has come up in the news, a team that is no stranger to Nigerian players,
Nigeria FC.
Forest, Nottingham Forest. We're now hearing that they have serious interest in Ademola Lookman, and they've got the green light from the owners to pursue him this summer.
Mm-hmm.
What's your feeling about that? Lookman to Forest, how do you feel about that?
See, Forest a year ago, they cannot even open their mouths
To
and
talk
say
about
and talk about Lukman. But because they have money and they're also probably going to play the Champions League.
Hmm.
So they have what do you want? We have it.
Mm.
We'll give you money. We also play in Champions League. You also play in Premier League. You also have game time. Come on, we have it. So in my own opinion, they have the right to bid for him. It's not left for Lukman to see maybe the club ambition will match his ambition. We don't want the club to be second or be third. We don't finish third actually this season, and we fight relegation next season. We don't want. You need stability, in that regard. So I want to see what Lukman will now decide. But I'm not surprised. I don't want them to turn Northern Forest to Vibes FC because we have for lie, and maybe come back and not join them. And that's a Vibe FC, But I just think that it's a good thing if he joins them. For me, anywhere Lukman goes, Lukman delivers. But I just think that it's slightly more than Northern Forest. Why can't they go and be for Ireland, Northern Forest?
I like
I can't go and be for Ireland. So for me, I think Northern Forest is slightly, no, lower, a little side for Lukman. But I think I can actually do better.
For me, I look at it that if he joins Forest, are they going to immediately put him to bench Callum Hudson-Odoi, who has delivered a lot for them this season? Are they going to say, okay, he should come and bench Anthony Elanga, who we know has delivered a lot? Obviously, competition is good, but you don't want to come from being a superstar in Atalanta to now come and be a substitute option for one of these guys in Nottingham Forest. But I think for me, the biggest thing is I do not know how much I trust Forest's ability to do this again. This season, they've shocked us. Obviously, if they qualify for the Champions League, they are going to have to strengthen their squad to compete in the Champions League, for sure. They are going to have to sign players. They're going to have to sign some quality players. My question is, if Lukman joins, say they offer him 200K a week, and he joins, and then they start to struggle next season, what would that do for his reputation? Can he make that same money elsewhere in a more stable club? Can he make that same money elsewhere playing for a club that we know is not going to necessarily, a club that's going to fight for trophies? Because it's hard for anybody to say that Forest to be fighting for trophies next season. This, what they are doing right now, is a dream.
Mhm.
But eventually, you have to wake up from dreams.
Yeah.
No matter how long it lasts, eventually you have to wake up.
Mhm.
We don't know if it's next season they'll wake up. We don't know if it's the season after. So I'm concerned. As much as I like Forest, I like what they are doing with our boys Olaino and Taiwa Woni. Those ones that are already there. They should stay and play Champions League. But if I'm Lookman, I'll probably say, you know what? I'll just tell my agents that see, transfer window is long in the summer. Let me see who they sign first. Let me see what business they do. You understand what I'm saying? Like, let's see the ambition, like you said. You know, maybe they sign some very quality center back, they sign some very quality midfielder, sign some very quality goalkeeper, things like that. And you're like, okay, this team kind of has the strength. You know, Nuno is a good coach, we know that. And you say this team has the strength to compete and to not be struggling. But if they just come and you want to be their first signing, expecting that, oh, you're the one that is going to attract all the other big boys to join their team, it can be tough. And if they want to sign a player like Ademola Lookman, they'll probably offer him maybe 4 or 5 year contract. So for me, oh, I'll say he should chill a little bit. He should chill a little bit. See what ambition the club has, see what they are doing, and then, you know, if they match your ambitions, you can go. But if a club like Juventus is coming, Juventus are not doing so well right now, but they are a more stable club. If a club like, I don't think PSG don't need him anymore. But you know, if a club like Barcelona, but Barcelona also don't need him. They have Rafinha, they have Lamine Yamal. You know, but just see what the options are. Even Chelsea should call. What? Chelsea self should sign Lookman because what's Sancho doing on that left side? Chelsea should sign Lookman. I don't know. Chelsea, I just that Chelsea have a lot of Africans. Well, not that many, but Chelsea should sign. If they sign Osimhen, sign Lookman. They will bring that combination from the AFCON to Chelsea. Now, I need to start. If there's any Chelsea fan that is watching this, we need to start campaign on social media. Chelsea should actually sign Lookman. Whatever this boy is doing, Jadon Sancho, Lookman will do times four. You know, but I think he needs to join maybe a more stable club. Man City will not sign him. They have Doku. Liverpool will not sign him. They have Gakpo. Manchester United, who do they have? But I don't want him to join Manchester United anyways. I'm just trying to think. If he goes to PSG, if you're going to France and you're not joining PSG, might as well stay in your house. You know, Inter. I don't know. But I'll say, you know, Forest is not a terrible club, but it's just the stability of the club being a competitive club is what I'm not sure of. What I'm not sure of. You know, but let's see how things go. Shout out to Charles. Charles has appeared. Thank you very much for the super chat. Much appreciated. Thank you very much, Charles. Real case says Osimhen is too old for Chelsea owners. He's not 17 years old because those Chelsea owners they like all these young boys. You know, but yes, it's going to be an interesting one. Let me see. Thank you very much, guys. Please, if you haven't liked the video, please like the video. We still have less than half of the viewers liking this video. So please, guys, hit the like button. It costs you absolutely nothing. And if you want to support us with your money, if you want to put your money where your mouth is, you can, of course, leave us a super chat and it'll be very much appreciated. You know, I'm still waiting for the day that somebody will say, IoT, Smitlai, I love what you guys are doing. Take $100. You know, I appreciate everything, but you know, we need to get the big hitters in the room. You know, let's do something great. Charles says same thing for Osimhen. He should wait for the transfer window to see his option, and Barcelona might need his creativity with his right foot. Yeah, Osimhen. You know, when you're a big player, when you're an in-demand player, you have leverage. Osimhen has options. That's the reality. You have leverage. You have options. So explore your options. Don't rush to make any decision unless it is something that is like your dream and they meet all your requirements. Don't rush. Explore the options. And then you can take the one that you think is best for you. You know, I would say the only reason why Osimhen will maybe sign early, if Chelsea come offer him exactly what he's looking for, and then he's like, well, I've always dreamt of playing for Chelsea, so I'm just going to accept it. I can understand. Sometimes you want to be settled because again, this past summer with Osimhen and the whole drama surrounding his transfer, it's not very easy for players to go through that kind of media noise, not knowing exactly what is going to happen to you, not knowing where you're going to end up. Not he didn't have a preseason, you know. He joined Galatasaray, so things went well for him. But the reality of it is that without playing preseason, had Osimhen joined maybe a Premier League side, it might have been a little bit more difficult for him to get up to speed. Might have been a little bit more. It might have needed maybe 3, 4. I mean, It might not have, but we know that some leagues are a little bit more difficult to adapt to as a newcomer, especially if you've not had preseason. So while I don't want him to just jump at the first offer, I also don't want him to take too long. Not the one that season will start now. We're still talking about where Osimhen is going. So it's just that fine line, making sure that you're not leaving too much money on the table, but you're also not, you know, taking too long that you've also now missed out on the best potential offer for you. Charles said, why is FIFA wasting so much time on South Africa? Let us know our fate. The tension is too much. Don't worry. The announcement will be made sooner or later. It's just a matter of when. But of course, they don't have any FIFA qualifiers for CAF until September. So they have some time. But they won't take that long to make an announcement though. We just have to keep waiting. But we'll get into the Super Eagles talk shortly. Okay. Similarly, disappear from your screen for 2 minutes when I don't define I'm ready. Okay. So yes, those are the two main transfers I wanted to talk about today. Now let's get into before we get into the Super Eagles, I want to address one narrative that people have been pushing. Why do we hype our players all the time? Oh, we have a bunch of average players. Oh, our players are not good enough. Why do we hype them? I saw this in the comments, and I don't know. For me, I think being a fan means supporting somebody through the ups and the downs, through thick and thin. Can you be honest with the person? Yes. Can you be critical? Yes. But you support. Your son is not necessarily the smartest child in the class. Does it mean that every single day you talk down on your child? Or do you treat your child with love and care and try to encourage them to do better? I also always encourage people to look at Nigeria. That's why I've been pushing the terminology Nigeria class. Nigeria class. And when people don't want to look at Nigerian players from a Nigerian lens, they tend to start insulting players a lot. And then they say, you people just hype, Who am I supposed to hype? Ghanaian players? South African players? I love my Nigerian players. I will support them. You might not always think that they are the best. I've never come and told you they are the best, other than maybe Osimhen. I'll tell you Osimhen is the best. But the fact that somebody had a bad game for the Super Eagles does not mean that now every single post I'll make about the person for the next 4 weeks is going to be a negative post. No. I'm going to back the person. If they have a good game, I'll say they had a good game for their club. Not everybody might care, but you cannot start asking, oh, why are we hyping? Why are we praising? When I look at other countries, a lot of them don't have these issues. Especially countries that are not. It's different if England is criticizing one mid defender or mid striker. You understand? Because they have many, many options. They have world-class players across their team. Saka, we saw Declan Rice. A lot of quality. But for us, we want to insult everybody that does badly for us when we don't have who is better. What does that do for us? Why can't we support players through the ups and the downs? If they have a bad game, criticize them constructively. If they play well, praise them. It doesn't always have to be, he performed badly, so every single match he plays now for the next 2 months, you just come and insult. I don't fully understand it. But if that's how you choose to do, I'm not faulting you. But don't now say that we that choose to support, we that choose to still highlight the good moments, we that choose to still praise them, don't say that we are doing too much or that we are doing the most. Because for me, when I think of being a fan, I think a fan supports even when things are going bad as much as he or she supports when things are going well. Because in life, things are not always going to be great. And if you are just always going to jump ship because things go badly, are you really a fan? And that's why when we're speaking earlier about the Ndidi thing, I say, even if you don't think Ndidi is the player that he used to be, does it mean that every single time you say a post about Ndidi, all you want to do is laugh or insult him? You can still support him. You don't have to praise him if you don't want to praise him. Nobody is praising him right now because praise is not due. But you don't always have to knock him. Somebody's already on the floor, already dead. You still fire the gun. Haba. Allow it now. The least you can do is keep quiet, even if you don't want to hope that things get better. So for me, I encourage people, if truly you are a fan of Nigerian footballers, you are a fan of Nigerian football, even if things are not going well, you can criticize constructively. But you don't always just have to come and knock on them, especially when it's not like we have steady, ready replacements. Who are the options that we have? When you want to insult Iwobi, Iwobi is this only club. Okay, who do you want to come and put that is guaranteeing a better display? You want to insult Ndidi left, right, and center. Okay, who is going to guarantee? Anybody that you call is probably somebody that you are assuming would do a job. Not that we've seen him do that job. Even Ekong, I understand he'd not impress. Okay, we start insulting him week in, week out. Okay, who are the defenders that we know can guarantee better performances? You want to call Igor Ogbu that has never played for us before? Can we guarantee? Even if Ekong is no longer a starter, based on the quality that we have in Nigeria, he will still be in the squad, even if he's no longer a starter, because it's not like we have many, many, many top options around the world. So for me, guys, please, even if you don't want to be loud about Nigerian players, those that choose to be loud and be loud in their support, don't try to quieten those people. Because for me, some people are always going to support even when things are not going well. Smilai, why do we hype our players all the time?
No, I know. I have to look at it from two sides. IoT, you've spoken well, and I agree with what you have been saying. But those that have been abusing players too, I also agree with you. The reason why some of us, because I would say us now, abuse player is because when we don't see the efforts. Some players will put the efforts, but things might not be working. They will put the efforts, like you will see it. But some players will not put the efforts, and things will not work. So that's why you see some clubs, because themselves fans, they boo their players. And the reason they boo their players, because they did not see the efforts from those players. So some players, some team will lose, they will still clap for their players. So well done, because of the effort you put in. So when we don't see the efforts, we will not see the results, we will abuse players. But when we see the effort and the result is not coming, come on, well done. Maybe it's not our day. Well done.
You make a good point. As much as I think fans should support players, players also have to earn the support of the fans.
Yes.
Clubs have to earn the support of the fans. Teams have to earn the support of the fans. So I understand. If you don't see the effort, I agree. It's hard for you to see somebody not trying and still say, "Oh, I'm going to stick beside you." Like I gave the example of if your son is not the best in class. If your son is trying and is not the best, you stick with him. But if he's not trying, you can berate him and say, "Guy, you need to, step up. You need to do better." So I understand that sentiment. I guess for me, where it gets a little bit far is even when, okay, he had a bad game 2 months ago, but 2 months after, you still want to be on his neck and hold, and everything. And it's like, at some point, we need to move on. Because again, I think that makes some of these players to care less about what people are saying. Because it's like, okay, no matter what happens, you're just going to be insulting me. Then why should I listen? But if I have a bad game and you insult me today, you insult me up until next week, and then I have a better game the week after, I'm not saying praise me, but the insult can slow down a little bit now. But it's like now you say you don't care what I do until I come back and play for the national team again and give the level of performance that you're expecting. That's when I'm like, it's a bit too much. And again, Smilai, I think you are so correct with if there's no effort, there cannot be support. I agree with you 100%. But sometimes it's not an effort issue.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes maybe it's a quality issue. And people still treat them the same.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Ndidi. I don't think Ndidi is a lack of effort. I think it's just a lack of quality at the moment.
But the way he says he's just better than Declan Rice and Casemiro altogether.
What is it?
He says better than Declan Rice.
When did I say that?
No,
Where did I
say that's better than Declan Rice.
Where did I say that?
He's better than he's the new
No,
guy.
you know, like I've always been saying this about Ndidi, that his quality on the ball is what will make him not play for a top team. When I was saying this in the past, people were telling me that, oh, I'm being harsh. And see, that's one thing that I like about this. I see, a lot of the time I've said different opinions. People will fight me on it.
Document your thought on him.
See, but time always proves me right. Most of the time proves me right. After 1-2 years, people start to see, okay, this thing, people start to come on my side. Because when I was saying it some years back about Ndidi, people say, how you mean he cannot play for Man U? What do you mean he cannot play for Madrid? Oh, but he was linked to all these clubs. And I kept on saying his ability on the ball is not enough to play for these clubs. People said I was harsh. Now those people are insulting him more than me. So for me, I don't think Ndidi is lack of effort. That chance that he missed against Zimbabwe, it's not because he was not trying. He know their body. Like, he just know their body. It's not that he was not trying to score. He wanted to score.
But
even him, he has seen his name on the papers. What is it?
They gave him an excuse that he was gassed out.
Gassed out or not, you're supposed to score that thing. It's not like he just missed. Even the not striking back against the goal that we considered. It's not that he was not trying. He was tired. He did not have it in his legs anymore. It wasn't lack of effort. It was just lack of ability in that moment. Same thing. I agree with you, like, there are some players that you might say, yes, don't put in the effort. Maybe Boniface, you might say he's not putting in the required effort. Chukwueze, you might say he's not putting in the required effort. I can't really argue that they are putting in the effort that is necessary. But for other players, when people insult Iwobi is not a lack of effort thing. You play him in an unfamiliar role. He doesn't quite have the ability to play that role to the highest level. And then people start to insult. So for me, I think we need to just calm down a little bit. I like this comment, but the comment did not come with a super chat, so I'm going to have to let it go. About the 12-step addiction. I like your comment. I would love to address it, but I would allow you to come correct, and then we can address it. We're running out of time.
Out of time already.
So let's move relatively quickly. Smilai, there's this guy, a techie baller. That's how I like to call him. That's how the Init boys like to talk about this player. I've been watching him for a number of years because he was playing for my club, Chelsea. And now we're hearing that reportedly he has decided to choose Nigeria to represent at international level. Yeah. He's a player that we've mentioned a number of times on the program in the past. Tino Anjorin, playing for Empoli in the Italian Serie A, teammate of Tyrone Ebuehi. Let me ask you, if truly he has decided to play for the Super Eagles, is that something that makes you happy? And do you think he can be a positive addition to the team?
I think it's going to be a steal. And you might not know now. You will know maybe probably in 2 or 3 years' time. He's 23. Most of our English boys are already 28. It comes in, it forms like a new generation of Indian boys, along with Calvin Bassey. As their ringleader. So for me, it's a player that I've watched, when he was in Chelsea. A lot of people don't know that this guy, I think he won the Premier League also. Won Champions League. No, he won Champions League.
He won Champions League, yeah.
He won Champions League.
2021.
He won Champions League. So he's a player that can add to the team. A player that just joined Empoli for like a season. In January, even because of injury, he was on his way to Juventus. To tell you, what the scouts see in him. He can shoot, he's relentless, and he also drives well with the ball. So, for me, it's a steal. I know that England can never consider him at all. But in 2 or 3 years' time, just like the way we got Lookman, they were thinking that, we missed out on this guy. And I'm sure that they will sign his papers very soon, very easily, because Empoli is injured. But let him sort out himself, more. He's a guy I've been watching since when we went to the Lokomotiv Moscow. So I know that if Nigeria will get this guy, but now that through his father, somebody very close to his father, so that they are already looking for a way to get him. So for me, I think looking for a way to sign the document and so on. In England it's a bit different. You have to sign with Northern Ireland too. You have to sign with Scotland and do everything. So you will still see his name in the FIFA portal. So for me, I think it's a big steal for Nigeria.
And if he joins the Super Eagles, where do you think he will fit in?
Chukwueze's role
Under Eric Shell or normal
under
Chukwueze?
Eric Shell. Under Iguavon, he's going to play number 4 or double pivot with yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like this guy. I think he's a very, very talented, very technical player. Even though his numbers this season don't jump out of the park, but I think his ability on the ball is a bit underrated. I think he's somebody that can offer a little bit of creativity, a little bit of flair, something. So I look at it, that Choko is a role, I'm thinking of Nathan Taylor, and I think he can offer good competition there. People are saying he's injury prone, not a lie, but it's also not, this is not, Nigeria is not a club. So as long as you are fit when we need you, you can deliver. Maybe you say, oh, he cannot become a key player because he might get injured when it's time for, national team, whatever. But at the end of the day, even Osimhen is injury prone. So if somebody is good enough and the person is delivering, all that one does not matter too much.
Sorry, the sport guy that pay money today, so I want to address his comment.
Okay. He
Did
said,
he pay money?
he dropped it earlier. He said, still
Okay.
from who? England can't be. It still is when another party desires that property. I do not think Andrew has the Lookman and Aino ceiling.
When Aino was in All City, will you say that Aino can get to this level? When he was in Torino, he was being benched by this Ivory Coast boy. Do you say that he can get to this level? When Lookman lost a penalty against will you say that Lookman can be African Player of the Year? Come on. I believe that all of us should have experience to more than this. Up till now, Peter Cross said that why didn't Lookman England look for a way to be patient with Lookman? You don't know the growth of a player. You don't know that. For a player to not get released by Chelsea and stay there for come on. Let's just wait and see. This sport grinder, wait and see. Wait and see. So don't say that silly. When Lookman was failing in Charity, failing everywhere in Leipzig, did anybody see Lookman to be African best? How you never call it? Wait and see. Everything requires what? Discipline and dedication. That's what talent. Tino Anjorin got it.
Okay. 12-step addiction. Thank you very much. He wants me to address his comments. So he said, I don't agree that it's anything like Nigeria level for our players. Our players were world class around 1993 to 1998. That is the standard that we should follow. I like that comment, but my response to that is get with the times, man. 1993 to 1998 is great, but we're in 2025. The reality of it is that, what was that saying? I get them before no be property. The fact that we had world-class players back then does not mean that we have world-class players today. If you demand somebody to be world-class, it is not going to make the person become world-class. Right now, we do not have the quality. It's the same way a Brazilian will say, hey, back in the day, we had all these Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, everybody in the team. They don't have that kind of quality today. So for me, while I recognize the fact that the standards have dropped, that's just our current reality. And we can only, if we say, okay, we only want to support the world-class players in the Super Eagles, so we're only going to support Osimhen, because even Lookman, that world-class is shaky. Okay, even if we include Lookman, so are we only going to support Osimhen and Lookman and to hell with the rest of the squad? nobody gets our support because they're not world class.
Mhm.
So when I say Nigeria class, we have to look at it within our current situation, our current context. We have to look at it like that. That's the truth. And we just do not have that kind of quality in our team right now. Maybe
Mhm.
in the future we'll have it again. We have a good pool of talent at a decent level, at good levels, but not many
But I
at
see. I
that
want to.
world class level.
I want to ask you a question. We used to say we have this talent, decent level, which you have mentioned that you had this category. Who will know about more of that level later in our
Mm,
this thing. The world class, Nigerian class, the MPFL class too.
mm.
But IoT, do you think these guys think that they are better than they are? Because I saw the way Chukwueze took. Sorry, I'm mentioning Chukwueze again. Took the ball from Osai Samuel. Want to dribble three people together. He couldn't even dribble one. So
See,
do you think that
lie,
they are better
lie.
than the?
Every player thinks that they are better than they actually are. It is up to the coach to bring the player back down to earth. As good as Osime is, he thinks that he's better than he actually is. As
Mhm,
good as Chukwueze is, or as good as he may not be, he
mhm,
thinks he's better than he is. As good as Lukman is, he thinks he's better than he is. I've spoken to, at this point in my media journey, I've spoken to over maybe 100 different Nigerian players. I'm telling you that all of them think that they are better than they actually are. I say I was talking to a player that is in Vietnam. He was telling me that he should get Super Eagles call up. I've spoken to players in the Middle East. They think they deserve a Super Eagles call up. So imagine a player in Italy, in Serie A. He will have the confidence of two nations, and he believes he can do it. Maybe he does it in training, and he's dribbling and dancing past people, and he feels like I have the confidence I can do it. So for me, everybody thinks more highly of themselves. As smart as I am, I think I'm smarter than I actually am. So I just think it's a natural thing when you are a confident person, when you are somebody that believes in yourself, you
mhm,
always think of yourself a little bit more highly than you should.
mhm,
But then there are factors like performances, like your coach, that bring you down to earth and help you understand your level. You know, why do you
mhm,
think people in Nigeria will say, if not for opportunity, this person I'll be there, the person will not be there? Because they think that they're better than they actually are. I remember one time somebody in my comments was insulting Zoho. That is a useless goalkeeper. Is this one? Is that one? Is that one? I looked at the person's page. This person is a keeper in Nigeria, not even playing MPFL, but is insulting Zoho.
mhm.
And in my mind, I'm like, you will never ever reach any level. Think you are better than the guy was literally saying, if they put me in Super Eagles, I'll do better than Zoho. And that's somebody that might never play pro. Everybody just, if you are confident in yourself, if you are a high achieving person, or you are somebody that dreams big, you will think you're better than you actually are. So for me, I don't blame anybody that thinks that. And I like
Mhm.
people to have that confidence in themselves. But the cream would always rise to the top. Those that are actually that good, you'll see it. Those that are not that good, you'll see it. That's what I think about that situation.
Yeah.
Sports Ghana says, thank you for reading my comments. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the super chat. If you haven't liked the video, please guys, like. Thank you very much. If you are watching on demand, please like the video as well. Adedamola says we need to try and get Chukwuemeka Carney. He is very technical and can play attacking midfield and left wing. He has a bright future. I believe he will excel in Dortmund. So we've spoken about Carney previously on the channel. I don't want to waste a lot of time. I can't really get into that conversation, but you can check out our previous comments on Carney. Just search for the video on Eagle Tracker, the YouTube channel, and you will find it. You will find it. We've spoken about Carney in the past, but thank you for the super chat, Adedamola. Okay, let's move forward very quickly. That's that on Fosino and Jorin. To wrap up quickly, let's talk about the FIFA World Ranking. So if you haven't seen it, Super Eagles rose one spot in the latest FIFA World Ranking. But unfortunately, while we went up in the world, we went down in Africa. We are now ranked sixth in Africa behind Morocco, Senegal, Egypt, Algeria, and Cote d'Ivoire. If you look at the list that I currently have on your screen, you'll notice that Ghana are not there. But yes, Smilai, one spot up in the world, one spot down in Africa. Does it matter? What do you think?
For me, I don't think it matters. But where we need ranking now is if
In
we are
our
going to go for playoff.
yeah. Mm.
If we are going to go for playoff, but the way it is now, I think we're going to qualify direct, not playoff.
Hmm.
So I know we think that this guy is crazy. Okay, so for me, I don't matter. It doesn't matter if we have very good Afcon run again. Later in the year,
We'll
we go
rise.
back to 20 something. We don't know. FIFA ranking is just like a pool. I don't really worry about that. For me, I'm fine. Let us go and beat Ghana first in this. Let them go and chop their love and egg. So let's beat them first in this June. So when the ranking comes out again, you know. But the problem is that Ghana is way below us in the ranking. So if we beat them, it doesn't really matter more.
Mm.
It's when we beat people that are in front of us. Really actually what matters. I don't know where Jamaica is. In FIFA
In the
ranking.
FIFA ranking.
They are 150. I don't know. Well, no, I don't think they're 150. But I don't know where Trinidad and Tobago too is. In FIFA ranking. But I know that I don't really assure. For me, it doesn't matter.
Mm.
We already got our Afcon group sorted. We already got everything sorted. So for me, I don't think it matters.
Mm. Ghana currently ranked 76th in the world.
Mm-hmm.
76th. We will probably need 3 slides if we're supposed to show them on
Mm-hmm.
the screen. Jamaica currently ranked 63rd. So Jamaica are higher than Ghana. 63rd for Jamaica.
What
And
about
then
Tobago?
Trinidad and Tobago, they are currently ranked in the world 100th.
Yeah.
So
What about Russia? Already, there's no rank again.
Russia, so it's not going to do us too much in terms of our points, but at the same time, losing to them does something.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot afford to lose.
Yeah.
You still want to win those games and get the maximum points on the FIFA this thing system. Okay, so the real case is asking, is Ehizbue still eligible for Nigeria? As far as I know, isn't he?
He
He
is, but
is.
the issue is that he had the immigration issue before. So
Oh.
they're not looking at the site because maybe, even the area he's playing, Richard is not looking to straighten that area, because he thinks that he got the two guys there.
He's happy with Bright.
He's happy. I think he's happy with the two guys that are there. If Bright is not there, Alatan Yusuf can play. He can play the position for him. So for me, I think he's just happy with that area.
Charles said, will the Unity Cup affect the ranking? As far as the games are within a FIFA recognized window, yes, they would affect the ranking. As long as they are within a FIFA recognized window.
Yeah.
So you cannot afford to lose those games still.
Yeah.
It has little effect. How many groups are in AFCON?
Well, I think it's 6 groups or so. Yeah,
So
you got 24 teams or so.
Yeah. So the thing is, dropping down to 6th doesn't hurt yet. But if you start dropping down to like 7th or 8th in Africa, that's when you become a second seed in Africa.
No, we already have the AFCON draws,
Yeah, they've already done the draws. I know. I'm just saying, like in the future, when it comes to all these things, even for other World Cup.
No, if the host nation, for example, on the next draw, all the host nations are not in top 10.
Okay, so they are going to all take the number one spot.
Yeah, number one, number 3. So like Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, they're going to take the top this thing. So that means that from like you have to talk about the top 3.
Yes, you have to be in the top 3 to be top seed. But at least that one, even if you're second seed, if they give you Uganda, you not say you give them one or two. It's not the
if they give you Morocco. Yeah.
But exactly, if you get Morocco in your group, it becomes a whole different ball game entirely.
Yeah.
Okay. So those are most of the things that I wanted us to cover today. There was something else that I had, but we're already kind of out of time.
Yeah, Flying Eagles, I think you're ahead of time.
Yeah, we're out of time to really discuss the Flying Eagles. But let me just post the link for you guys if you want to quickly come and share your thoughts. If nobody comes on,
you have the time already now.
We'll wrap up. I don't have time now. Wrap up. I was thinking of so many different things on how we can do some things better, but no timer quite yet. Something that is still in the works. I need to figure out the best way to figure that out with this platform that we're using. But yes, the link has been posted, guys. If you want to come on and share your thoughts, please join us very, very quickly. And yeah, we'll take as many people as possible with a 2-minute limit. Me, I'll be a human timer. Charles is asking Smith, does Nigerian football need a massive overhaul due to our downward trend?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I just think that we at least we have a path to power now. So we can, there's something that will happen in Nigerian football very soon. That that there's a revolution in some areas. So for me, I think it's not a massive overhaul. It's just some bad eggs in there that need to be taken away. So that's it.
Are the bad eggs players or people
The
of
bad egg are mostly what administrators and also some players too. Yes.
I mean, massive overhaul. I don't even think we have the
I don't
time
think so. I don't
to
think
do a
right.
massive overhaul.
Mhm.
But we can definitely improve certain positions, get some more quality into the team, get some more quality in our selection. I've somebody that I've always held this opinion: a team is only as strong as its weakest link.
Mhm.
So if we continue to include players in our team, in our selections, that we know that if push comes to shove, we cannot even have the confidence to put them on the field,
Mhm.
then I don't think that does us any good. We need
Yeah.
to always have a squad of 23 players that we can count on. Obviously, some will be better than others, but we should be able to count on every single person to deliver
Mhm.
when
Mhm.
and if we need them to. We need to trust all our players in our team. Sports Ghana says the next AFCON will be bad. Hope we are not even in the third pot because the three hosts may play, put their hearts or may play out their hearts, I think is what he meant to say. Third pots, I don't think we'll be.
There's with Benny McCarthy in charge of Kenya. I don't think
I don't
there's
think we'll be all the way down.
with the Kenya goalkeeper. I don't
down
think
to
there's.
third. I don't
I
think
don't
we'll
know
be all
for.
the way down to third pot. It's not. It's not. We're not that
I don't
bad.
think.
As much as
No,
we want to
we should pray to qualify.
for the Afcon,
Yes.
we'll qualify. If you have confidence that we'll qualify for World Cup, but it's Afcon that you want to start out.
No, I just think that after the World Cup there can be a lot of exodus.
I mean,
You see.
there will be people like Ekong will leave.
You see.
The 30 plus, some of them might leave. Maybe
I think Ajayi will leave.
if he has not already left. But yeah, the older players, will leave. Some of
I
them
think
that
they will leave.
I don't think he will leave unless they chase him out.
I think either he leave or he just say.
No, I think personally, see, I'm not somebody that believes in the slander. I honestly still think Ndidi has a role to play, even if not as a key player. I
To
still
come
think,
on as a substitute.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even if he's no longer a key player, until we have options that
Mhm.
are clearly better than him, which
Mhm.
we don't have right now. Like that's the truth. Maybe you say Onyeka, okay, fine. Onyedika and Ndidi are different kinds of players.
Mhm.
Onyedika can do more on the ball, but he and can cover more ground, but he's not going to tackle the way Ndidi tackles.
But
So until we have somebody that is doing a better job, he
yeah.
should still be in the squad.
Well, for me, there's a young player that will come on very soon. I watched him today in the CAF Champions League the final against Sundance. Odushi Ogelu.
You mentioned him before.
Eh?
I said you've mentioned him before.
Yeah, former Nigeria 20 player. It was against those Mokwena that was doing half for you during AFCON. The way he bossed the team, the way he bossed them today, it made them to run around. So for me, it's a very good DM. He is a very young player. He was scouted when he was in high school. So it's not as if the story is not really big story. So
I
so
mean,
for me,
he's playing for Esperance. Let's
yeah.
let's see him at a higher level then.
No, he's playing against a team that is giving you problem. He's playing for well.
I
So
mean, if the coach chooses him and the coach thinks he can offer something, then why not?
mhm.
For me, I'm all for giving players a chance as long as the players, are showing something where they are playing, and the
Mhm.
coach sees how those players can fit into the system. But let's
Mhm.
not do the style that we're doing where we're just calling every Tom, Dick, and Harry just everybody
I
now
don't
knows.
think they will. They will.
You know,
To be honest with you, if not because of caution, Eric Shea wanted to. That thing that said that you should avoid that. He wanted to ring changes in this in the game against Rwanda and this thing
Because for me,
because
you cannot just start calling because right now I don't want to insult anybody, but there are some players that have super egos in their title that I'm like, how? Why? You know?
he just want to maintain the status quo. But I think the friendly game will give us
Mm.
more this thing. He want to ring changes. Yeah.
Let's see what happens, yeah. Let's see what happens. Okay. Uche, welcome, sir.
Is he Uche Crisatos?
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Very well,
hear
I can
you.
hear you.
Yeah, so just a few points. In regards to Super Eagles. Um if you remember 2018 World Cup, right? You noticed that we had like we played the formation of 3-5-2, right? We had Mikel Etebo and what's his name? Indidi playing the three midfield position. And then Iwobi didn't even play till like the last game, and he played also in the midfield. So I feel like right now we have issues. I keep on saying it. We have issues. We have less bodies in the middle, and so we need to look for what do you call it? Whether it's potential or people that have like skill sets that are similar to what we can offer in the midfield. Because right now, anytime we are playing, I'm usually scared about, okay, are they going to outrun us in the middle? Like if we are to take the current crop of Super Eagles and play against South Africa, we are going to lose that match. So because we do not have, how do I call it? We do not have, we cannot use Iwobi and play in the middle against South Africa. Because right now, Iwobi's position is actually as a forward. So why then carry him to, if you're saying Iwobi can play in the middle, so why don't you bring in someone like Chrysanthus Uche, or like the guy that Smith Lai mentioned, the guy in Esperance? So why don't you bring those kind of players that you know that at least can offer options? Like in the game against Zimbabwe, we could see that what's his name, Ndidi was out by the 70th minute. Indeed, he wasn't doing anything, but yet he kept playing because there was no other option. They couldn't even bring in Papa Daniel to replace him. So if we are having this kind of issue, why don't we resolve it with like hands that we can see, or legs that can actually do like even a little bit of that job? So that's actually what I want to talk about. Like that's why I feel like Chrysanthus Uche should be invited. Like at least he plays as, especially if you see the formation they've been playing recently in Getafe, especially in Getafe right now. They've been playing more like a 4-2-3-1, or sometimes they play or 4-5-1, and he's one of the midfield, the one sitting at the top of the diamond. So if he's doing that, whether the team is playing, they are playing a defensive setup or counter attack, as long as he's doing it in the top five leagues, he's better than Aribo that will take the ball back and pass it to the. Aribo doesn't take ball, or he doesn't move the ball forward. He carries the ball and play it back. If you compare him to what's his name, I feel like especially in that particular position, you need options. You need someone like Fisayo Delebashiru, and you need someone like Chrysanthus. At least you then definitely get competition in that particular wing. And you have someone, even if Iwobi is trying to compete for that place, you also have at least competition in that wing. But if we keep on inviting the same people, there will be no competition, and then we'll still have the same issue, especially if we're planning to actually go to the World Cup. So we need more legs to give us more options. I know you might be saying, oh, that you've not seen anyone like that's as good as Ndidi, but we cannot keep relying on Ndidi. Everybody can see that his legs are gone. So why don't we bring in legs that would actually support or augment? Maybe he can come in second half. Maybe he can play 45 minutes, then bring in someone into the game. I know you're saying like, oh, based on the sample size, that if it's not been proven before that this person has played this way. But you can see that actually, especially with Chrysanthus, you can see that he functions within the 11-7 and behind the striker. So we are not necessarily contesting for what's his name in the disposition. We're contesting for the 10 or the 8th position. So that's the major reason why I feel it should be invited.
Okay.
So with that point, okay, I'm going to.
Thank you.
So,
You even want me to keep on talking about this thing, but When you were talking, I was just looking at are we looking at formation or are we actually watching the games? Because
I'm actually
no,
watching
because
the game.
towards the end, you finally said it is featuring from the 11, from the 7, and from behind the striker.
That is
If
the 10.
no, wait now. But
Mhm.
if you look at his heat map from game to game,
Mhm.
and you look at where he's concentrated, most of the time he's playing on the left side. When they play against certain teams, yes, he might play deeper when they play maybe a 4-1-4-1, and it's part of the two um sitting midfielders and trying to protect. But a lot of the time, his his things is concentrated on the left side of the attack, not necessarily behind the striker directly. And again, if people are saying call Uche as a 10 for the Super Eagles, okay. I don't doubt that he deserves an opportunity to show what he can do. I am personally not convinced that he has the quality of a 10 for the Super Eagles. I personally don't think
So
so.
what options do we have right now that can play a 10 and do it very well? That can do a minimal work. Like
Other
right now,
than
we don't have.
we don't have, I agree, and that's why I said I'm not arguing that he deserves a chance. But I am just saying that based on his attributes as a football player, based on the ability that I think he has on the ball, I don't see him being an effective 10. I think it will still come back to the same. We don't have creativity. We don't have creativity because Uche is not a creative player.
But so how is he churning all those assists?
Are you watching the assist or you're just
Yes,
looking at
I
the
am
stat?
actually watching the
Okay,
assists.
so when they play
Like the first
when they
goal.
play a ball and you head it and somebody that's not
That is actually he we
it's
do
an
not
assist, but it's not creativity.
hold on. Let me just say my point. So with the first assist he did, if you watch the way he nodded the ball to the player, you could know that he was actually nodding the ball to a dangerous position, expecting what was the guy that scored the goal? Forgotten the midfielder. He was expecting him to run inside. So it was more like that is actually you're expecting that from a midfielder to sometimes go into the box, sometimes come to the left hand side. It's just like there are times you would see when Kante was playing, you would see him on 7. Sometimes you see him on 11. And
Uche,
go back and
Oh,
forth.
see,
let me assist
I
you.
understand what you're
Yeah.
saying, but that is not creativity.
Let me assist you. IoT,
Hmm.
who assisted Osime in second goal against Rwanda?
The second goal,
Against Rwanda,
who assisted the goal?
Chukwueze.
Oh, well, okay, was it Chukeze?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, yeah, Chukeze.
How did the assist come about?
Remind me, you obviously remember.
It was the same header. That one
Yes,
was even
50-50.
Okay, okay,
better.
yes, it was the header that Osimhen now chased the ball. Exactly. So
Assist, na
what I'm
assist.
saying
So
is assist na assist, I agree. But assist no mean creativity. Do you
I
get what
know.
I'm saying?
Mhm.
Assist no mean creativity. Assist na assist, but it doesn't necessarily mean creativity. Like
The
Sergio
people.
Busquets will never be considered to be a creative midfielder,
Mhm.
but he had a lot of assists.
You
When
say Sergio Busquets won't be considered to be a
if you are thinking of creative midfielders in that Barcelona side, you are telling me that you would have said, "Oh, Busquets was a creative." Like, you look at Xavi, you look at Iniesta; those were the creative options.
yeah,
It
but
doesn't mean that Busquets did not get his first of assists.
the way he was defending was very creative. He wasn't defending
Is
like
it defending creatively? Come on now.
yeah, like he was
It
stringing the
was like the
passes now.
fulcrum. The
No,
fulcrum.
I
Yeah, like
agree. I agree. I'm not saying he did not play a key role. I'm not saying he wasn't a key, but I'm talking about creativity. Because at the end of the day, if Uche comes to the Super Eagles, he will do a good job with his effort, with his press, with running around, with trying to get people into the game. But he's not going to play defense splitting passes. He might do it sometimes, the same way Ndidi does sometimes. He might show the quality a few times, but it
So,
is creativity is not his ability. And
so
while I understand that that's the reason why he's probably better suited as a CM than as an AM, my argument for that just always comes back to the fact that at pro level, he has not played enough games as a CM. So like, yeah, let's wrap up so I can bring other people on.
let me just say something. When last did a super good player play defensive splitting pass?
It depends on what you consider to be defense splitting. No, but all I'm saying is, in general, he's see, and that's what I'm saying.
See,
If see, in fact, to your point, Smith, like when does the player do it? That's why I say if he comes and plays the 10 for us, people will still continue to have the same. Oh, we don't have creativity. We don't have creativity because he is not going to be that player that is going to break us.
Let him come
This
and
is-
do what he's doing.
This is his effort.
Fine.
That's it. We need like
He should come
Nigerian.
and do what he's doing. Getafe for us.
Let
That
him
is
come
what
and
we
try
want.
it. But
If
are
he's-
we? But again, like, are we playing like Getafe?
See, if we play, I wouldn't prefer us play like Getafe.
When Pesaro was playing like Getafe, una want installs Pesaro finish. Say him be defensive coach. Him be this or that.
I think Getafe style of play now.
Because when the man got us to find out, because he was playing on the counter, people were insulting him. But anyhow, we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, Uche, thank you very much
No problem.
for your contribution.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Charles, you're not in frame, so that we can bring you on quickly and we can wrap up. And I think Dino also wanted to come and say something as well. So, guys, if you can come back. This person is looking for my attention in the comments, but I'm not going to give you my attention without.
Who's that?
I don't want to mention his name. He's looking for my attention. For me, people say that sometimes. I just think that if somebody thinks I have hostility towards Uche, you are either ignorant, manipulative, or just dumb. Because again, me not thinking that somebody is a 10 or will do well as a 10 or should be, even if I say he's not good, hostility, which hostility? Am I supposed to, so I'm not going to give him the attention he's looking for.
Okay.
Charles, welcome, sir.
That is always in
Charles, your connection. Charles, maybe leave and come back so that your connection.
You can bring this also clear.
Yeah. But Charles is also saying Uche is a box-to-box midfielder, not a 10. And honestly, I agree that he has more ability to play box-to-box. I agree 100%. But that's not where he's playing. And for me, I think he deserves a chance to come and try. But I cannot fight for him until I see it. That's one thing with me. I need to see evidence before I come and fight for somebody or I say, oh, I think he will do this, I think he will do that. I don't like to assume too much. Adedamola says Yaya Toure had assist, but it was not creative, it was box to box. Yaya Toure is one of the most complete midfielders that Africa has seen. One of the most complete midfielders that the world has seen. It is a taboo, or not taboo is not the word. Is a fallacious statement to say that Yaya Toure was not creative. Yaya Toure could do everything. Yeah, could do everything. Like when I mentioned Busquets, Busquets and Yaya Toure were doing Yaya Toure was creative. He could do everything. Could run with the ball, could score goals, could take set pieces, could find a pass. He could do absolutely everything. I disagree with you, Adedamola. I disagree with you. He says Uche started his career as a DM and was converted to temporary number 9. He's a box. Again, I cannot lie to you. I don't know why you guys don't like hearing when I say this. I do not care where a player was playing when he was a semi-pro. It does not matter as far as the Super Eagles is concerned. Osayi Samuel started as a forward. Is he playing forward for us? If you ask Olayino did not start at right back. Is he playing forward right now? So it doesn't matter where you played at semi-pro. I agree, Uche started there. But that's not where he plays right now, at least based on the one season that we've seen him. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve a chance, but it's hard for me to come and fight for somebody in a position that he's not doing that thing. Especially when, frankly, I don't necessarily think that he has some qualities better than the people that are there now. I don't think Uche can tackle like Ndidi. I don't think he can play box to box like Onyedika. Can he prove me wrong? Yes. Can he get better? And I think that he's better than those guys. Yes, of course. He's still starting. He's in his first season. He has so much to grow. But as of today, I think he deserves a chance. But I'm not going to come and say he's outright better than those guys. Okay. Charles, let's hope that your connection works this time so that we can take 3 minutes and wrap up. Welcome.
Hello, IoT. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
Hi, Smith.
Hi, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to correct something. They said Uche is a number 10. Uche is not a number 10. Uche cannot do assists. Uche is more like a proper player. He's the kind of person that can do box to box. I've never seen him as that number 10. Okay, fine, he's giving assists. But now the real question is, who is that midfielder that can give us that passes? To me, before his form dipped, I was like, he's Kelechi Iheanacho because he's not a number 9. He's not a number 9. Even to go check his under 17, he was playing more like an AM. He's not a number 9. It was when he went to Man City that they switched him to a number 9. That's the only guy I have in my mind. But my problem is he's not consistent. Okay, look at that. He's having a decent time at Middlesbrough. I give you some time now. He will just hopefully he doesn't he doesn't sleep over. He doesn't let things get to his head because that's how he was. He was on fire in Leicester. Before he let things get to his head, and things were like, well, we went back to the beginning. So to me, I feel like Iheanacho can be that number 10, and I also feel like this guy, this
Sorry,
Ancho,
yeah, sure. Is that now?
yeah. I mean, before he lost his form, like but not right now. I'm still looking at him. He's
Eh?
I'm,
We're
Look at him
not
now.
having air natural conversations about in 2025. Sorry, not in
because if it's not
2025.
him, maybe they should try that Papa Daniel. Because I was looking at his
I
video.
think just today is on fire.
Yeah, maybe because we should stop playing Wobby as a midfielder. I was watching Smith Lies Gantz football on Friday, and he said something that he and Achan Wobby, they were decisive in their youthful years in Zambia in the
Yeah.
2018 World Cup qualifier. That's because Iwobi wasn't playing. The role he's playing right now was a midfield. He's not a midfielder. Fine, he's versatile, but you can use that versatility to your advantage, but he's not a midfielder. If you want to get the best out of him, playing either of the wings, if you check some of the goals he scored for Arsenal, there are some of the goals are like, how I put it, it's a world class moment. Him having his moment. The volley he scored against Chelsea in the Europa League, all the goals he scores in Arsenal are all world class moments. If you want to get the best out of him, will be play him at that right wing. Maybe play him at that right wing and bench Chukwueze, or don't call Chukwueze, or play him at the right wing, but don't play my midfield. Iwobi is not a midfielder. I thought, that Rwanda game we escaped it. We weren't playing that good. Our midfield was a little bit lackluster. We escaped it, and I was critical. I say, hey, the Rwanda game was about strength. The Zimbabwe game was about speed. I say we dodge a bullet, but if we don't sort this our midfield problem, it might hit us. Eventually, unfortunately, it hit us at the Zimbabwe match. So, like I said, our midfield has been our problem, a big problem. It will be not in midfield. We have how many defensive midfielders? What we need now is someone who can drive the ball, someone who can create chances, like a Kevin De Bruyne type of player. Because I noticed it's something about Africa. African teams, they don't have this attacking midfielder except for maybe Yaya Toure. But Toure wasn't like a AM. Most times he play like a box to box or DM, but he can give you that passes. So like I said, the only person that I feel like can do that work for us is maybe Papa Daniel or maybe Iheanacho if he gets his form back. But he's not consistent and he's aging. So that's another thing. And I like the fact that Tino Anjorin has joined us, which is good, which is very, very good. We
He
need
never
more.
joined yet, too.
He hasn't yet.
It's not confirmed yet. It's not official.
Oh wow, oh wow.
But
Okay.
it looks like it's going to happen, but not official.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Hopefully, because we need more bodies in that midfield. We need someone who can, we need that energy because I was looking at that match and I remember that boy Dele Basiru. If he had one of those chances, that he will be chance that indeed 10 out of 10 who are putting it away. If you remember the game against Libya, when we were struggling, and that Samuel Moses crosses, he came and he just a slight volley, he just tapped it in. Because I was like, why is Brian Osai Samuel controlling volley? You don't control volleys. More half of the time, you just kick it in. That was how Osimhen scored the first goal against Rwanda. He kicked it in. Why are they controlling volley? They're trying to Simon tries to control volley. Even in that Rwanda game, Lookman at some point tries to control the volley. It was there was a cross. If you remember in that Rwanda game, he had the ball in the box with the volley. He tried to control it, but it did not work out. You don't control volley. He tried to kick it in, but like I said, I don't know. Like I'm really hopeful that this Unity Cup, we need to try to win to improve our ranking, and hopefully get some players. And some players need to be rested. People like Chukwueze don't come back. Boniface is still a good player. I feel like there's something he's lacking in his game. Maybe I won't say he's not built for the African game because he has the build, obviously, but I don't know what's wrong here. I don't know. Maybe he's not playing like the way Osimhen does. Because anytime Osimhen, like IoT said, Osimhen has raised up the Nigerian striker level. The way he presses you, he will press you so bad. Oh my god, he will chase you, chase you. Like you see that second goal, it was a loose ball from Chukwueze, but the way he just grabbed onto it and ran. So, like I said, he has upped the status. Now, it's either Boniface adapt to that status or bring his own type of game, which will be very, very difficult. But let's see.
All right.
Let's see.
Thank you very much, Charles.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much. I have to let you go now because we're out of time.
No
But I
problem.
appreciate your support as always. I appreciate your contribution.
No problem.
Thank you very, very much. Okay, just taking the last few comments. Monsieur Agunwade says, Papa Smith go be our next number 10. Anyway. Papa Smith go be our next number 10. Anyway. I mean, I don't think people are looking forward to potentially seeing Papa Daniel as our number 10. But, for me, we don't necessarily need a number 10. You just need a playmaker. It can be a deep line playmaker. Fabregas was a deep line playmaker. Kevin De Bruyne, a lot of the time, played as a deep line playmaker. Would drive the ball forward and would play defense between passes. Paul Pogba was a deep line playmaker. He wasn't a number 10. So obviously there are number 10s, Andrea Pirlo, thank you. So yes, I know that today's world, maybe some number 10s are reappearing again. The likes of Cole Palmer, the likes of Bruno Fernandes. But you don't necessarily need somebody
That
that
Bruno Fernandes
is
is doing because he's playing for a poor Man United team.
well, you don't necessarily need to be a number 10. You just need to be creative. Somebody that, obviously, if you're closer to the goal, you can create opportunities from close range. But there are people that from deep can find that pass, can find that opportunity, can read the game very well. And we don't quite have that quality yet. But who knows? Maybe Chris Santos Uche will be the solution. We have to go tonight. So I want to say thank you to everyone that has joined us. Thank you to everyone that has called in. Thank you to everyone that has engaged with us. And of course, thank you to everyone that has left a super chat. If you have not liked the video, please, maybe it's because I say people should leave super chats. People are upset with me today. And I don't want to like the video. But please, before you go, make sure you hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. If you are watching on demand, please hit the like button as well. If you are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, please like, review, engage with us in the comments. We appreciate every single one of you. And please make sure you join us next week for another fantastic episode of the Niger FC podcast. And of course, on Friday on Gun Football for Friday Night Football Club. We also are working on some exciting content for you guys. We shot the first one yesterday. I won't reveal anything about it quite yet. My editor is currently working hard to try to deliver a high quality video. We're going to do a series of videos that I believe would be interesting and engaging to you guys. So look forward to that coming up soon. I don't want to give a date yet. And of course, the interviews are still going to be coming out. If you have not watched the last interview, the interview with Chisom Egbuchulam, please go and watch it, because I am sure that you will enjoy the conversation, hearing about his journey all the way from the NPFL, being the best player in Nigeria, going to Europe, getting to be part of the Super Eagles, going to Asia, and it just gives you a unique insight into the journeys and the things that Nigerian players go through. Smidlai, I know you've watched it.
I've watched it, but what surprised me, there's one keeper that I observed. I know that Amubi is actually is GM, when he got called up, is that, when you get called up now, you have to plan your journey. How come they call him and say, we go to Abuja now?
Oh, good. Yeah, he said they just called him. They just said, go to Abuja. He said, we just won the league. What do you mean go to Abuja? They said, you've been called up to Super Eagles. He had to go and take bus from he had to go to the stop to go and find bus, and ended up making it to the Super Eagles, And that's why, I don't know if this is how it still happens for MPFL players today, but sometimes we wonder why some of them might feel overwhelmed by the situation, because it's a very, very different experience for them. It's a very, very different experience for them. Let me see. Is there anything else I want to cover? So yes, please watch the interview if you've not watched it already. Look forward to some exciting content as well. Lots that we're trying to do for you guys. Lots of content we're trying to create. And the more you guys engage with us, the more we are, motivated and inspired to keep on creating this content. But the series that we're working on is going to be entertaining, it's going to be engaging, and it's going to be very, very, very educational. Because even I shooting the first episode yesterday that we shot it, I was learning a lot of things because I have some of my senior men there that know better than I do, and I was learning a lot of things. Unfortunately, I was born. People always say, "I see, you're a newbie, you're still a small boy."
You don't go that
I
comment.
cannot,
Come on.
I cannot choose the day I was born. I'm in my late 20s. I'm in my late 20s now, but I'm a 90s baby, late 90s. So, but I try to learn my history as much as possible, and engaging with people like Smith Lai has also helped to boost my knowledge. Let me just play the trailer for the.
It's very, very difficult to become a professional, especially coming from Nigeria and also from the streets. I stood in front of the whole management and they were asking me, okay, how much do you want? I said, I don't know. You can give me what you want. I just want to play football. I would say I like pressure. Pressure brings out the best in you.
You won the MPFL Player of the Year. How did that make you feel?
I would say,
How did you find out that you were going to be part of the Super Eagles?
I was sleeping at home. I received a call from our GM and he said, you need to be in Abuja today. You have been invited to the national team. Nigerian fans are more vocal. They say like some dirty words direct to you, direct to your face. And at the point that they even want to beat you. This sport, tomorrow you go carry woman, they wake up and I refused to go to second division because I was like, you be big player now. How you go second division?
Why did you decide to now go to Asia?
The numbers was what made the difference. I was asking, do they play football in South Korea? Yes, they play football in South Korea. I said, okay, then let's go. I had to stay off football for 3 months. It was really a terrible injury because I couldn't walk.
Would you ever go back and play in the MPFL? Yes. So if you have not watched the interview, please check it out now. It is on Eagles Tracker, on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. You can enjoy it while you're at the gym, while you're on the bus, on the train, while you're driving, while you're on your private jets, anything. You can enjoy the podcast, and I'm sure that you would enjoy it. Once again, a very big thank you to everyone that has tuned in. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the love. I appreciate you guys always engaging with us. Without you, there will be no Nigeria FC podcast. There will be no Eagles Tracker. So even if I did not take your comments, please forgive me. For the person that I said I'm hostile, I'm sorry if you took offense to my response to that. I apologize. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I don't like when people keep on misinterpreting intentionally because I feel like there's no way you don't understand what I'm trying to say. But yes, thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody. We've run very long on this one, so I appreciate you. Bismillah, thank you to you as
Thank
always
you.
for showing up and for giving us your unique insights and your comedy. Bismillah, you're lucky the life of this podcast with all the jokes that you're always you're always making. My own is for them, they like to fight me, but you give them education and comedy. That's a pleasure. Once again, my name is Ayoti. My co-host is
Smith Lai.
yes, this has
See you
been the
again.
night